All right. Greetings, greetings. Thank you so much for coming in, King Lancelot. We wanted to definitely have you express the information. I'm very intrigued as to everything that's going on. The presentation that you made to so-called Prince Charles, so on and so forth, struck my interest, and I have been following you on TikTok. I don't believe that a lot of people are familiar with the information. You know, there's so much entertainment to distract us a lot of times
That's
that
right.
people are able to focus. So I definitely wanted to bring you over here so that the community would be able to understand what you're doing and the importance of it. And you can go over some of these things as well. I really appreciate your time, and I'm going to go ahead and mute up and allow you to present. Thanks for coming.
Give thanks. I appreciate. All right, welcome everyone. Again, it's Lancelot, King Lancelot. We're in the UK, but again, it's for the families that are all across the world. It's for those American, especially because they make up the majority of the royalty that were in England. So you have the Caribbean, you have the Americans. These are what made up at least you would say 80%, because there was a lot of us that were um, moved, a lot of us that were transferred area to area based on the wars. So I'm just going to go through what I do and the website so everyone can know what I'm about. All right, so again, House of Lancelot. The House of Lancelot is also a constitution and a local board of health. The constitution is a imperial one, it's a royal one. It's adapted from again all of the royal laws that is established in England, and this is for all of the families all across the world. It's a family based. That's why it's just grassroots, so everyone can be a part, be accountable for what they know or what they don't know, and it's also transparent. You can see everything, and it's a blueprint. It shows you all the aims, it shows you all the purpose, everything, and you can adapt it because it's just making sure that the family, the royal family, the crown family, know how the constitution, how they set up their institute set up, because these are the things that they're using and taking our inheritance. And the local board of health is laws that's based on health and safety, which is the highest power that you can have on the land. Health and safety. Health and safety allow you to inspect and audit public offices, judges, also police. It's powers that you're going to see, throughout the life, that this is your inheritance. Genealogy by your blood, law, also constitution. So this is what makes up the House of Lancelot again, and we're established at the highest level, and it's just now the family, because within every royal constitution, everything is based on weight and measure. So weight is based on the intelligence of that family, and the measurement is how much family is united. So that's why you get unions. This is a royal thing, and it's based on how much people come together within their family union. And so right now I'm uniting the whole royal imperial crown family that's all over the world. All right. So this is houseoflancelot.org. And like we mentioned, we're connecting families back to their roots. And this is an imperial roots, a crown roots, and it's intelligence. After approach it from an intellectual point of view, the intelligent point of view, because that is just based on, again, how the system function and how it works. But those are operating, they're not operating with the intelligence we that are the that have priority to operate. So that's why you can see it, the way that it's functioning is not holding up, because it needs our intelligence. All right. So that's why then you will see some of us working along with them, that's keeping that system going. It's just us. And because that is a primordial state, and this is why the royalty and the crown makes sense. I'll give you. So also we have the magazine, so you could keep up with what's going on, and All of the events, it's spectacular. Just leave your name, your first name, last name, your email, and join our mailing list, and you'll find everything within the magazine on what's going on. Also, as I'm reading out who I am and our Royal Institute, our mission is to build and promote a Phoretic Family Institute, an educational facility in psychology, history, and law for the Commonwealth, for the Windrush Commonwealth realm, families internationally and locally and internationally. Phoretic meaning black family, like phoretics, like meaning the black crown, and this is again would be very new to a lot of people that's been in a different state of mind, but this is our reality. You know, the crown of Pharaoh is the black crown, and it's the imperial crown. So meaning it's the highest, and we are all the children of that. And that meaning we are the, and that's in reality, not biblical, but reality. That's why we are called the sons of God, sons and daughters of God, because in history, Pharaoh is our God, and we are the children. And listen up. So we have latest news that comes out. One of them is the crown is your birthright, because the crown is your birthright, and you're gonna see everything that in regards to this, right? And that's the highest form of authority you can have within you. And I'm gonna show you everything again based on that. And so the crown is your birthright is my research and discovery, based on my family bloodline, lineage, and all that I discovered throughout traveling, going through again all of the oldest institute, like Egypt, Ethiopia, again Rome, all of those where I see again my family's influence all over, and all of the other families, because when I found out, I realized I'm connected to so much, and there are so much other family members that's within the charters, right? So that's what it became a bigger issue. So there was a historical event. Majority of us may not of being aware of, but we need to be aware. So I'm going to show it. This was in Parliament. I went in Parliament due to the fact that again the kingdom who built the people that built the kingdom that is mostly being recognized, like the Windrush generation, they're being misplaced through administrative errors, and this is by purpose, because the UK is under foreign jurisdiction or foreign government, and they're causing a lot of um, corruption. So I couldn't really take it no more. So I had to just make a change for my people, and you'll see the video.
It sounds like the video's muted.
The video muted.
No, you can't hear it. It's muted.
Oh, for 1 second. I don't know if it's from. You can't hear the video. Can you hear me?
No, I can see it. I can see it, but I can't hear it. It's muted.
Okay, I'm not too sure how that 1 second how that works. I'm not too 1 second. So again, if everyone can just go on the website, you'll be able to see the actual footage. And because it's important to know what's going on. Also, coming up soon due to the fact that we have been moved out from our royal identity and that type of solution for us as people. I've got my institute, the House of Lancelot Institute of Learning, coming soon. That's been done by, again, excellent Awoken. She's a part of the primordial team. And there were some interviews that were done on, because we're still in, they say, Black History Month. It's very important to see these interviews because it gives you opening on everything that is, going on. And there is a law for us, meaning everyone that is born beyond sea. There it doesn't matter where you are. As long as you're able to know your genealogy, your bloodline, trace it, and it returns to the kingdom as it should. If you're in America, you're one of the king's children of this these of the earlier times. I'm gonna show you everything, and there's a law. It's called a statute for those who are born in parts beyond sea, and this is in the time of 1350. So 1350, again, we were still ruling at that time. I'm not too sure if this one's gonna play, but this explains the whole bill of what's going on. But I'll come back to the end and then go through it. So there's a petition. I make sure again to make everything public petition to make everything comes out so everyone is accountable for each family member. To share and make sure that each family member can get what they deserve, get their royal inheritance, their royal identity, their crown identity, and the petition is called a sovereign grant for families of those who are born in parts beyond sea. So when I say parts beyond sea, that meaning people that's again beyond the seas of the United Kingdom. So it could be England, it could be France, it could be America, it could be the Caribbean, it could be Africa, wherever you are, and able to trace your genealogy to the United Kingdom. And we do that for everyone that they do want to trace their name all the way back to the United Kingdom, or no, just to know about your genealogy. It's called the surname research. And I know that a lot of offices within the states, they're extorting because they know it's so valuable. They don't want to give the information, but they will take the longest of time. And I'm getting this from a lot of people. It could be in the Caribbean, it could be in the Americas. They're taking forever just to provide their own documentation or their own genealogy report. So we do that for all of the family. It's super important. I'm not even going to go through that. Would be enough on the website. But this is the reason why. So we have a petition. So petition usually 100,000, where that petition, when it goes into Parliament, it gets read out in Parliament. So Parliament has to read it out. And reading that out, it creates again more awareness. It creates again debate. It creates everything. Because right now, all we need is awareness, witnesses of our family members knowing that who they are. And again, if you click if when you're on the website and you click the petition, and it gets you to the page. So this is change.org. It will come up on change.org, right? And it will say a sovereign grant for families of those who are born in parts beyond sea. Again, a lot of people, because the condition of how they've been in, they're still afraid of themselves. And this to the point right now where I'm making it so clear and so transparent that it's not about an organization, it's not about a company, it's literally about yourself and your family. And based on what I'm seeing, a lot of people are scared of themselves, literally scared of themselves because of their conditioning. So again, everything that you see in the petition, you can see everyone down here. That's why I make it transparent. So everyone that signs the petition, their name will be down here. So they that sign the petition, they have again part of the declaration or the petition that they are one of the king's children, and they again will be part of everything royal that is gonna take place. That's why it's so important. I'm gonna read the issue. I hope everyone can see. It says issue. The petition is for the Treasury to provide to everyone a sovereign grant from the reserve fund to our families of those who are born in parts beyond sea for all their living and other expenses. We, the father, the Webb family, and the extended family of the House of Lancelot, Lord Lancelot, at Shemward, Sutton Borough of London, of those who are born in parts beyond sea, the Windward generation of the Commonwealth realm, are all subject to the Crown colonies and fundamental law of the realm of England and Wales. The Windward generation of the Commonwealth realm has been refused their rights to abode in the United Kingdom with indifference, which is against human rights and equality. This petition will help save children, adults, and elderly from discrimination, torture, suffering, and death by wrongful administration. In a period of change in economic environment and insecurity, new trade and economic patterns, unprecedented threats to family peace and security, and a surge in popular demand for democracy, human rights, and broadened economic opportunity, the potential of and the need for the House of Lancelot, a compelling force for good and as a effective network for cooperation and for promoting development has never been greater, recalling that the House of Lancelot is a charitable, cultural, education, and religious society of the family institution and equal family sovereign states, consulting and cooperating in the common interest of our family and in the promotion of family understanding and family world peace, and influencing family international society to the benefit of all through the research of common principle and value. The family of the world, through the fidelity of their community, have made a remarkable contribution to the hours of society for generations. In the course of administrating the affairs of the House of Lancelot, made the decision to secure the Windward generation, Commonwealth realms, families, histories, and laws. We, the Father, the Webb family, and the extended family of the Constitution of the House of Lancelot urge you to sign this petition to protect those who are born in parts beyond sea, inheritable rights, and equality, thus preserving our historical rights for future generations. Confirmation, a statue for those who were born in parts beyond sea of the 25th year of King Edward III. Statue the first. This is what it states. The king's children declared inheritable in England wheresoever born. The law of the crown of England is and always have been such that the children of the kings of England, in wheresoever parts they be born, in England or elsewhere, be able and ought to bear the inheritance after the death of their ancestors, which law our Lord the King, the prelates, the earls, the barons, and other great men, and all the commons assembled in this parliament do approve and affirm forever. Right? Forever. So this is forever. As long as we live and our children live, this law is forever. And we're gonna cover this because this is the authority that we have, and it's the absolute one. So we're gonna cover this based on my book. This book is called "The Crown Is Your Birthright," and it's volume 2. This book allows you to see more details of how things are established, right? Is still in establishment. So you're gonna see what great things are awakened. So again, this is based on my journey, my discovery of my family, and again found that there are so much other families that it affects. So like I say, these things were done even before I even knew. So I'm Lancelot. I'm from Middlesex of the Webb and Lawrence family and the House of Wessex. And that Webb name is derived from a weaver. That's Neef from the first dynasty. And again, we're imperial crown residence of the royal house of Windsor, and it's super important and of the realm of Mercia. Down here, like you could find your coat of arms. So each family member, your coat of arms is in the depends the abbeys. So you have Westminster Abbey. This is next to Parliament, which is a part of Parliament where they keep all of the family record. The royal one that's from the olden kingdom. So that's why you could find my coat of arms, and that's where I found my coat of arms. And again, there are so many other family members' coat of arms, but there are different other houses that you could find more coat of arms, and this is important. So let me show you. So because we're in a like I say a great time. We're in the year of Jubilee, meaning the year of return, where this was declared by Pope Francis, right? And the year of Jubilee, if you're Christian or religious, you should know the year of Jubilee. So this is a royal custom where anyone that has your property, your land, is supposed to return unto you. All contracts are void. That's why, again, they're trying to take us into another system, the digital system, because their operation as is up. It's no longer. It's in because we're in the year of Jubilee, and the Jubilee is going on now. That's why everything you're seeing is based on the year of Jubilee. So just want to get you to this point because we're basing everything on the crown, right? And where is it? Let's go up here. Yeah, and we're basing everything on the crown, and the crown itself is the intelligence of our bloodline. So it's the intelligence of our ancestors, and this is the part like a lot of people are coming from. Again, they just might be coming from word of mouth, but this is a bit different. It's where intelligence is required, and they always knew this, so that's why they don't make us read. They messed up the type of information that we're supposed to be receiving. They make us focus on things that are entertaining instead of that things that are educational, right? So there we go. So you have the Royal House of Windsor. Hope everyone can see, right? You have the Royal House of Windsor, and just to go back to this law, I'm gonna so from the petition, just to make sure everyone knows. So from the petition, right, and it says families of those who are born in parts beyond sea. It's an actual law. So legislation.gov.uk is delivered by the National Archive. So it's the national, as you see, the highest authority you can get around the world, National Archive. So it has everything that's accurate. So this you could find. So every governor, every ambassador from different countries, they come to cross-reference and to apply the laws to their constitution. So that's why they could continue working. Just like even for the Americans, they come, they get their research bodies to study the laws, then they created a code, right? So they codify the English law. That's all you see in America, codified English law. And you can see this is the same law that I just mentioned. All right. Okay, so remember, this is what we're going to be covering. We're going to be covering the King's Children, the law of the Crown of England, right? Same King's Children again. Inheritance, all right? Because we're not talking about reparation, we're not talking about nothing else but inheritance. Inheritance is different. Inheritance is through blood, law, the highest intelligence, so that your inheritance can be secured, even if it's been taken away from you unknowingly, right? And you talk about ancestors. As you can see, every one of it got an S, so it's not a partial. It's impartial, meaning it's absolute, it's whole. So no one is not left out. We're gonna highlight commons, and again something forever, right? So when you see everyone, so when you see the Royal House of Windsor, right? When you see the Royal House of Windsor, you're talking about royalty. So look, within the royal house of Windsor, there are countries. So that's why when you hear the term in my house, there are many mansions. So countries are mansions, right? Mansions. So where you have these are the countries. This is based on the present administration of the House of Windsor. They can't highlight every country because it would be too obvious. You know, people would wonder what's going on. It will be more obvious. So they have to choose the ones that again have connected to the other bloodlines, right? So that's why in other houses other than Windsor, you would find other names of other countries or other sets of people. So like I say, within the house of Windsor, the crown is the highest. So we have the crown, we have then the royalty, then you have the nationality. So that's the level of jurisdiction. Nationality is the lowest. Royalty is over nationality, and the crown is over all. Right? Remember that. That's very important. So within this royal house, there are Antigua, Barbuda, Australia, Bahamas, Barbados, Belize, Canada, Grenada, Jamaica, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and Grenadines, Solomon Island, Tuvalu, and the United Kingdom. So as you can see, the United Kingdom, even the United Kingdom, is within the Royal House of Windsor. If you get what I'm saying, so royalty is over nationality, and the reason why all of these countries, because all of these countries are originally melanated countries, as a term that everyone can understand, black countries, right? Originally, the reason why you have these individuals now, like King George V, Elizabeth, and Charles, is that they adapted the name Windsor in 1917, but their ancestral house is foreign, is Wettin, Soxberg, Gotha. So if you look at Wettin, Soxberg, Gotha, you will see that this is a German house. It's not native to the House of Windsor, or not native to England. So you can see the foreigners or foreign monarchs are leading the house, and it's a big problem. And I'm going to show you how the problem starts. So for those that are in America wondering, so when we're gonna see the Americas. So look, so the House of Windsor, it has ancestral house, just like how you see the ancestral house right there for George V, Elizabeth. So the House of Windsor also have ancestral house, right? Because there are previous crowns, just like you have mothers and fathers, grandmothers. It's called ancestral, right? So if you go into I'm going to show you. So this is a charter for the ancestral house. So you have the Royal House of Windsor, the House of Stuart, the House of Beautiful, the House of York, the House of Lancaster, the House of Plantagenet, the House of Wessex, Kingdom of Mercia. There are other houses, but the ones that stands out the most I just put. But there are so many other houses that is is connect. But these are the main powerful ones. So as you see here, the Kingdom of Mercia is the oldest in that line. All right, so all of these houses, they have their own crown, because again they're significant. So I'm going to show you. So in the time of these older kingdoms, because I'm applying everything to the Americas, right? So at this moment, because everyone majority are viewing from the Americas. So as everyone can see, so this is an old Britain kingdom. It's the old British kingdom, and these are the seven kingdoms. That this is before England was ever existed. So we're going back into the 5th century, right? So this is before any Moors, Muslim Moors. These are the original ones, like the ones that are again Egyptian, the ones that Mauritanians, the ones that have the bloodline of the Pharaoh, the Sufis, the Sabah, the Sabians. These are those ones, right? Before any religion came in, right? So before that, this is what they also call the Dark Ages, right? Where they have the dark crown. So remember that, as you can see the time frame. So we had East Anglia, Essex, Kent, Mercia, Northumberland, Sussex, and Wessex. So when you say Mercia, so this is Mercia, powerful and oldest, and it's for a reason. Mercia, right? So when you say Mercia, let me see where it is. When you say Mercia, if you look it up, you type in Mercia. Mercia, you're referring to also America because Mercia is an empire, and these are the families, you know, of the pharaohs, children of the pharaohs. Like I say, this is before any mix, any conflicts, long before any conflicts. So when you say mercy, it's in America because it's written. It says America used especially to emphasize qualities regarded as stereotypically American. Right? Look, if you stretch it, original, origin, English, America, deriving from Mercia, early 19th century. But look, yeah. So it says early 19th century, representing a regional or non-standard pronunciation of America. All right, look. So Mercia, due to the fact that Mercia is is your ancestral bloodline, right? Because this again, this is before any slavery, so you don't have to again think it is long before. So that's why all the majority of the Americans they have again names that are associated with England, but this is before England. This is Mercia, so this is where you get in the word America. And these are chiefdoms, so they are so within the empire, the one parts are chiefdoms, meaning the elders, and the other parts are the knights, and they are different ranks. So the Western Hemisphere, they're all chiefdoms, as you can see. Indian chief, so the highest parts are the chief. But this is within our bloodline. This is the crown intelligence, and you're not just native. You're crown native. That's a different. You have absolute power, and I'm gonna show you why you got absolute power. So that's why again, Mercia is again the empire, which because the United Kingdom, the country United Kingdom, is not in Europe. It's in the Atlantic Ocean, or part of the Atlantic family, such as America. So it's part of one family, meaning it's a dynasty, right? The only time England has ever been a part of Europe is in 1974, or 73, which is when they joined the European Union. But before that, they are always a Commonwealth country. That's why you could find you in the America they are Commonwealth. The Canada Commonwealth. So because it's based on a commonwealth, meaning bloodline, genealogy, law, constitution, intelligence, a crown. Crown is a commonwealth because the crown is intelligent to keep again those that are of that bloodline, you know, bind. So it doesn't matter what changes that happen, the intelligence will always be there so you could remember. Super important. Right? So that's why you have Mercia. Hope everyone see it. So this is why again it states the law of the crown of England, right? And that always have been such that the children of the kings of England. So remember, there were kings in this time before England, so that's why they have inheritable rights. Their inheritable is in England because these are the kingdom that created England, right? I hope everyone get that clear. Um, the host is representing those that are in America. So if you have the questions to for that those that might be in America want to ask while we're here, we could help them to understand that.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link. If anyone has any questions right now and would like to join to ask anything, you can do so.
Okay, yeah, everyone is tuning in a moment. Yes. All right. So I'm gonna continue. So everyone could see just the connection, right? And it gets much better. It gets much better in clarity because I'm trying to show you again your power. Where, like I say, we're dealing with the highest, if it's in intelligence, authority. So the approach cannot be from, yeah. You have to try to more understand this jurisdiction because it's not again just like a Samaritan type of jurisdiction. It's not like a normal publican type of jurisdiction. It's the crown, so it's the highest imperial. So again, the rulers in this time of Mercia, and I'll show you why. Remember, so this is seven kingdoms, seven crown, and the Mercian crown. So Mercia and Wessex, they are connected. Well, literally all the crown are collected through the intelligence of the crown. But Mercia, that crown, I will show you. It's coming from again and pharaohs or emperors, right? So you would have in that time. So this is this. So Mercia is going then back to the first century. So as you can see, it's in the time of Christ, they would say, all right, before Nicaea, you're saying before Christianity. So that's what I'm saying. Your jurisdiction has a different power over the ecclesiastics, over the federal. I'm gonna show you this. It's super important for everyone to learn, right? For those that are in America. So you had a lot of people might not in America might not even know about what I'm just about to say. So you have Septimius Severus, right? Remember, this is second century, first century, second century, first century. Septimius Severus. So Septimius Severus is was one of the greatest or was the greatest Roman emperor. But he's a melanated man from Libya. Think about this again. So this is in the Dark Ages, what they will say, or before. This is the Roman time coming into the Dark Ages. He's the greatest Roman emperor from Libya, not a Roman, but a Libyan that is a Roman emperor. And he's an imperial Roman. That means, again, a dark Roman. So when you say imperial, you're saying black, you're saying melanated, you're saying dark, right? So that's an imperial Roman. And he's the greatest Roman. So think about that. Think about the type of confusion we'll be in if this type of history has been taken out. Imagine taking out a saying about Michael Jackson out of history. There is a big gap. There's a confusion. You know, why people are behaving certain way, moving like a certain. Because obviously this influenced the whole culture, a whole generation, nations, the world. So imagine taking again Septimius Severus out, or not put him put put Septimius in the priority of greatness, or hiding that greatness. You know, it's just like would say that he's the greatest, like Michael Jackson, but someone thinking about some people that is not even known, not even as charted. It makes a big dent in, or it makes a big hole in history. So he's a Rome, like I say, he's an emperor, Libyan, black man. He ruled the empire. That's why majority of Moors that in America, they talk about the Moroccan Empire. Again, Septimius, because he ruled the Roman Empire, right? So all of those empires that connected from all of that region from the Mediterranean going up, all of the bloodline, they traveled like that round the Mediterranean or over to the Spaniards, going up into the Atlantic Ocean and all of the Isles over into the Americas. So it then that Moroccan Empire would come back to Septimius Severus, right, as being in the ancient is ancestrally, but it's an imperial one, and it had other companions like Niger Peninsula Niger, also could in history is referred to as the Black Jesus because justice is way in historical is Jesus, because that's what justice means, right? Also, you have Marcus Aurelius Antonius. Again, these are all melanated people, right? He's the father of philosophy, as everyone should know. And you could find him again. Also, he's an emperor, first century. I'm talking about second, and third century. You could find him in where they call Caledonia or Cumbria, England. This is Mercia, right? Very important, and that's why you could find that the Alistian Moors, as you can see up there, the Alistian Moors, you could in to this still very first day, a stone in carving about the Alistian Moors. Remember, this is the first century, third century. There is not no again Islamic Moors or no none of the ones that you'll be thinking about. So this is well before that, right? And again, remember, so Septimius Severus. So they say this is the Roman Empire, but the other half they didn't mention because again that is the Imperial Roman Empire. Septimius ruled from England. He's the only emperor that came to England. So imagine that how the history that we have been taught that all the Roman emperors they were Caucasian European. But imagine out of all of them, only the melanated one, black one, is the only one that visited the United Kingdom and ruled from there. So he's showing you the power. That would then denote the power that of the black man, what he had, the emperor, or the type of power he had for him to be the only one to be able to go and visit and stay and rule from this area. But it's just history being again re-administrated for the purpose of their rules. But I want to show you something. So we had legions. You might read in the Bible about legions. So legions are ships. You know, 10,000 ships. So in the Imperial Roman army, which is the African army or the Moroccan, whatever you want to describe it, the American, you would fight in legions because these are all same bloodline. Remember, because they deal with the crown, imperial crown, like the highest. So there are millions of ships, millions of people within the ship, families. So, and these are us that you will call you'll find part Partica from Septimius Severus 1, 2, and 3. Also, you could find the Theban Legion. This is Saint Maurice. There are the Italia Legion, Saint Alistian Augustine. Man, there's so much. So let me just show you one other thing, right? Important. So just to show you that's the reason why again it's an imperial crown because it was ruled by emperors. Just let me leave it on Mercia for the moment because I'm addressing the American. All right, so that's why when you say Mercia, you say America. So that's why when you see, and it will show you. So based on again the foreigners being administration, the way that they got to that administration is through the Regency Act, all right? And the Regency Act was passed down by Edward the Seventh, Edward the Seventh to King George the Fifth, and this was based on the Children Act 1908, amended 1910, because us as children, we have the inheritance, right? And when they did that, they created the act for a reason, and this is what the act says. Let me mention. So it says an act to provide for the administration. So you realize administration is a powerful tool to control who you are, to remove your rights, to remove your name, your title, all these things. Administration. So it says a act to provide for administration of the government in case the crown shall descend to any issue of his Majesty while such issue shall be under the age of 18 years, and for the care and guardianship of such issue. So just to make this even more highlight, so when you say, because you know every child is under the care of the state, the reason why, because the crown is the trustee of the children. And the reason why the crown is the trustee of the children is because it's the the children are that's those are the king's children, as in that's your bloodline. So the crown is then created as a trust because again, all of the king's children are within a charter that the crown holds, just to know that these are important. So that's why when you have registry redress meaning king. When you say redress, it's saying king. Tree is saying tree, as in family tree or ancestry. So redress tree is meaning king's tree. And if there is a foreign king, say for instance again, and you have foreign administrator, and they realize that there are a lot of people that are unable to or the kingdom has been breached, they could change through the administration, change you over to that king registry, when then that makes you become a foreigner. And then they could put their members, meaning their allegiance, in place of you. So they're gonna be in place of you. So they're being a like a watchman or a guard over you. So that's why they put people with you can find people that are Caucasian with your name. Then they're just being put in place based on the foreign king, so that they could track you, they could trace you. That's why it's important. Again, it could just be family, but majority of the time is that they put they put in place of us, just like how they might say in slavery time, they put master over us. You see, the king's people that allied to the king, if he's a foreign king, he would put his people in place to look over us. But again, there were cruelty. Cruelty was done, right? And that's why the name was changed. And I'll show you, So look, very important. Yeah. So it says this. So remember, that's first. It says if on the demise of his present Majesty, who God long preserve, any child of his Majesty succeeds to the crown, whilst under the age of 18 years, Her Majesty Queen Mary shall be the guardian and have the care and tuition of such child until the child attain the age of 18 years, and until that time shall have the disposition, ordering, and management of all matters and things relating thereto. This is where I get in more clarity. Her Majesty the Queen, Our Majesty Queen Mary shall, until such shall attain the age of 18 years and no longer, look, have full power, right? Have full power and authority in the name. It's in the name, as you see. That's why your name is so important, because it's in the name of such child, because your name connects back to your royalty. That's why they remove, change things, because it's in the name. All right. That's why again the word become flesh. The word of God is the power. It's in the word. That's why I say there's power in it. The word can life and death, all these things. because the power and authority is in the name of such child. Look, and in the stead of such child, and under the style and title of regent. Right? It says regent there. So if you look at regent, look what regent means, as you can see. Regent, a person appointed to administer a state because the monarch is a minor or is absent or incapacitated, as you can see. All right. So they put a person to administer a, so the state of your mind, right? Because the monarch is a minor or is absent or incapacitated. That's why they call us a minority, even when we are the majority. Because again, being absent minded and being incapacitated, that's a mental issue. And the minority is put under the class of mental health because you're out of your jurisdiction, you don't know your inheritance, and based on those that have been appointed to administer, they have changed the state of your mind because it's what they have done. But look again. So that is the reason why, again, things were changed around. Because 1 second. That's the reason why things were changed around. So based on Mercia, right? So that's why majority of those that are in the United States, America, they have been re-administrated, displaced, misclassified because of the administration, right? And that's why, again, by changing the name from Mercia to America and then creating false history, like saying Americo Vespucci was the one, like all of these things, it then messes with your genealogy identity, right? It messes with your biology and chemistry because, again, the information that helps your genes to adapt to your environment. If the information is changed, then it will change again your focus, and then it will change your destiny, like destiny swapping that I was saying. So
That's
that's why,
real quick, Lord Lancelot. That is a very high form of alchemy. I talk about that a lot
yes,
because people don't understand that. I just want to mention that that is a high form of alchemy, the spell binding.
yes, yes, that because again they're using our crown, they're using our intelligence, and it's because it's the law as well. It's the law is the in what where the word voodoo, right? Voodoo, it means law, and it's the highest form of power. But we also use the law because it's the law, because it's also that's what create activity or action. The word is a command to create an action. Just like on the computer, you type in what you want the computer to do, just like the AI, and the AI perform the action because the word is the command. And you know, from our intelligent approach, that's how we created all of the safety net in case we descend into lack of knowledge, because it does say our people are destroyed by the lack of knowledge, and these are all the safety net in case that it happens, and we're in this time where we can recover. So as you can see in the recovery now, because it's it it has turned, the tide has turned due to the fact that intelligent is what's coming out and intelligent reigns supreme. So they're trying to be ahead of us due to the intel, but it's because it's the intelligent favors us. It's weird, but because that's our ancestral bloodline, it's within us. Intelligence favors us. So even
Yeah,
if they're trying to use AI, it's not gonna work because that's not, it doesn't favor them, all right, because of their how they operate and their heart and mind. Because again, the mother is the highest intelligence, so they could form things. That's powerful. Listen, so that's why again they changed they changed the language so that they could take, because remember Oxford language is an a genealogical intelligence, because obviously language of people that come by, and all of these are documented. These are institute that keeps records. So again, just to highlight that. So that's why when you say Mercia, so remember that now. Just remember. So remember that Mercia is the oldest. And let me just get back to the kingdom, like the Windsor, all right? Yeah, to Windsor. So because Windsor, as I say, it's what's present. The house of Windsor is the present house, all right? The present house. And again, we are all inheritable in that. That's our royal house. Because obviously everyone that is viewing, majority of us is American right now. All right, so this is where again the change. Remember again, the authority is in your name. So you have the authority. That's why it says that I read this part again. Her Majesty Queen Mary shall, until such child attain the age of 18 and no longer, have full power and authority in the name of such child. Right? So it's your that, because again, your name holds authority. That's why again, people that don't look like you but they have your name, because they have been taught about the name, they could use that against you. Think about it. Mm. That's why if you sometimes if you don't say nothing and you go in for a job interview or whatever, and they read your name, they on the name alone, because the name has power, they would want to until they see you. You know, it's a difference. All right. So look now. The reason why again this took place, because again it transferred. Edward the Seventh transferred it to George the Fifth, because now George the Fifth, these are foreigners. Remember I mentioned they're from the house of Saxon-Coburg, Germany. They're not from the UK. They don't have no bloodline of the UK other than this. So this is called the Aliens Act, 1698. This is by William of Orange, right? So William married into the family, into the family of King, in the Stuart, the house of Stuart. I think it's either King James' daughter or goddaughter or stepdaughter. And William was from Orange, I think, Netherlands, right? And he married in, and he saw that the type of power that was being used. So he kind of planned to remove, or to again what they call the word. They tried to get rid of King James, and this is where King James was set up, and he had to flee and vacate the crown. So and look, this is what it says, Aliens Act. So he started putting laws or acts in place for the inheritance to be passed on, not to us now, to change the administrative inheritance from administrative point of view. So it says an act to enable His Majesty natural born subject to inherit the estate of their ancestors, either linearly or collaterally, notwithstanding their fathers or mothers were aliens. As you can see, aliens, if you look up the word aliens, all right? Aliens mean a foreigner, all right? So as you can see, these are foreigners. So they are not native to the United Kingdom. I hope everyone can understand. So these are foreigners. So this is why we're in the position. We're under foreign government. That's why again in the America, way that our foreigners, they've been under the foreign administrative from that time, right? From this time, 1698. Very important, and that's why there has been battles to regain the administration. It's because the administration is what control the inheritance. Remember, they're fighting over this our inheritance, right? The law of the crown, which is the highest form of power, right? And we are the priority of that. We have priority in this crown, and that's why we are the children, as you can see, I mentioned before. So England is Mercia is what creates England. Mercia and all the other kingdoms is what create England. So when you say England, you're talking about melanated people, the, the children of those kings, because again, this is what where we're deriving from. That's why it's an imperial crown. So let me just continue. So let me continue. Let me show you this. Very important. All right. So let me just. I'll show you again. So remember, I'll show you again. Everyone that's in America, look, the House of Windsor, right? It has a crown, and it's a royal house, and they are imperial residents, right? That's why you see there's Canada in there. Canada is also represent the Americas. Remember that. Think about what I'm saying, right? They can't put all the countries within the South because it'd be too obvious. They'll say why there's so much countries, but they had to have the countries that have the bloodline that connects to the rest of the family. But they just make sure that this is like a memory to know that there are royal children that is in the Western Hemisphere, imperial crown children that's in the Western Hemisphere. As you can see, so imagine this then, right? As you can see, look, out of all of these countries, right? Look at this. Out of all of these countries, melanated countries, right? And it's in the royal house, but the only one that is royal are foreigners. That doesn't make sense. Think about it. Out of all of these melanated countries that are within the royal house, right? The only one that presumably being royal are the foreigners. Because we tell you, look, that's their ancestral house. And I just mentioned these are Germans. And these Germans, got in the position through the Regency Act, meaning they're administrators. Also, through the aliens, they would pass the inheritance to administrate. The inheritance to administrate were passed down through the Alien Act, which aliens mean foreigners. So think about this again. That's why it has to hope everything is clear because it should be. These are not native to the House of Windsor. They adapted it. That's why the name is powerful. These are foreigners. But out of all of these countries, the only royal that they say that they're royal is foreigners. That don't make so imagine someone coming in your house, then they're saying that the only one that is the head of your house is foreign. That like it doesn't make it's just like I said, this is all based on our intelligence. When like anyone can mistreat or misuse someone that's disabled. That is anyone can do that. Anyone could trick someone that's disabled, but someone that's intelligent is not. They're not able to do that. So that's why we're in that state. We're in an incapacitated state because that's how we're being viewed. If this can happen, then it shows you the type of level of concentration or focus we're on, right? It shows you that anything can be done, and because he's not in the right jurisdiction, the right mind state, foreigners can rule you. So you're gonna have a foreign mindset because they have been programming that foreign ideas. So that is for us. That will be then we're inferior because we have been programmed to be inferior because of the fact of the information, the interruption of our DNA. And now, like I say, it's just to make everyone realize. But now our look. So now let me show you our superiority. We have inferiority and then you have superiority. So remember, our inferiority is our inheritance, which is the crown, which is our ancestral, which this is what we're supposed to bear, because everything that you see here, Lord, the King, the prelate, Earl, Baron, Commons, this is what our inheritance. These are our titles. These are everything that belongs to us. This is authority. All right. So as you can see that they're aliens, but this is what makes the difference. We have the Act of Supremacy, 1558. This act is what intelligence are made of. Again, um, this was based on King Henry VIII. Again, breaking the oath of the mother, right? Because he did not want to continue the marriage, and he wanted, and then he separated from Rome, or the Church of Rome. He broke the oath of the laws of Mayat, because again the mother ruled supreme. So after that he separated, and then that's when you have the matriarchal, no, the patriarchal type of activities. And in that time they were, I think the Witchcraft Act came out, and again they were persecuting women because they had powers. They knew about the Vudum, they knew about the law, right? And they knew that literally not just word, but that what creates action. So, and then again, due to the fact that Elizabeth is the child of King Henry VIII, but she was classed as illegitimate, and it was between her and Queen Mary. Queen Mary is the mother of King James. Because Queen Mary was from Scotland, she had more direct ties to the pharaoh, to the imperial crown, to the dark crown. Meaning, you see, a dark heritage, a dark genealogy, right? So, due to the fact she was fighting for our life, fighting to keep the crown or keep our bloodline, she created this act, and this act proves now, like, because now it's open, it proves again the superiority, right? So remember, this is what it states: an act restoring to the crown. So remember, to your mind, yeah, the ancient jurisdiction over the state, ecclesiastical and spiritual, and abolishing all foreign powers provenant to the same. So that is what the crown has the power to do. It could have, so all of the foreigners that's within your land, your crown jurisdiction, or your mind, based on your crown jurisdiction, which is also the crown, which is the laws. That's why it says here, the law of the crown of England, right? Meaning that's your ancestral jurisdiction, right? It shows you that one second, my people, that has the power to remove or abolish foreigners. It's super important to know this, because we have to understand that we have in our genealogy, or we know this already, but now we're getting absolute proof, right? We are the law itself, because the word is law, and the law becomes flesh. That's why, for instance, any law enforcement officer, for them to enforce the law, they have to learn the law first for them to enforce it. So imagine that this is their job. This is our inheritance. It's a big difference. We are inherited to enforce the law. That's what I say to my people. Once you know the law, enforce it by any means necessary, because you have right. I'm gonna show you. It's powerful. Let me just get everything tuned in, my people. So one moment. Yeah, so that's why the law is so powerful, because we have right to enforce our ancestral jurisdiction, our ancient jurisdiction. It's within us. So that's why it's key. So look at this again, right? So when we're talking about the crown, the ancient jurisdiction, remember, it's over the state ecclesiastic, so it's over federal law, right? So if you look at the word supremacy, all right, look at the word supremacy. Supremacy. This is what it says: the state or condition of being superior to all others in authority, power, and status, or status. What is that? Is the crown, meaning your ancestral jurisdiction, meaning your inheritance. Literally, that's the law is there, right? Um, and again, so down here, it shows you what the crown can do. Remember, I'm talking about your inheritance now. I'm talking about you, right? What the crown can do. The crown, look, this is 8, Article 8. All spiritual jurisdiction. So if you say you're indigenous American, Choctaw, whatever American, Indian, whatever you are, that's spiritual. That's a spiritual jurisdiction because that's what that jurisdiction is. But that jurisdiction is united to the crown because the crown is intelligence, right? Is the intelligence that bind all of the jurisdictions together, and that's why it states, and that such jurisdictions, privileges, superiorities, and preeminence, spiritual or ecclesiastical, as by spiritual or ecclesiastical power or authority have therefore been or may lawfully be exercised or used for the visitation of the ecclesiastical state and persons, look, and for the reformation, order, and correction of all of the same, and of all manners of errors, heresy, simicies, abuse, offense, contempt, and enormities shall forever, by authority of this present Parliament, be united and annexed to the imperial crown, as you can see, of this realm. Because the imperial crown is the ancestral jurisdiction of the House of Windsor, which goes back to, look now again, imperial crown, which goes back to Mercia, America, because like that's why majority of people say, right, America is the empire, because it is, because of the imperial, but it's what the name changed because it's the imperial crown. It's the imperial crown. Think about it, right? And that's why it shows you the ancestral jurisdiction of the crown of your bloodline goes to Mercia. And then Mercia, again, let me just show everyone. And then Mercia, this is important, I'm going to show you because it ties into everything. And then Mercia, again, is where you have America because it's the empire because empire covers waters, right? You're an imperial. Look, it's a difference, meaning the black crown. So you're an imperial crown. That's different, and I'm sure. So I'll show you. So let's show you now. Remember, this is imperial crown of this realm. So that's Mercia you're talking about, the Americas. Mercia, also along the Americas. This, and because of the emperors that ruled Mercia, right? And the bloodline, the imperial, meaning the dark children, right? Children of the sun. So look. So look, I'll give thanks. So look. So now, let me, so remember, when it comes to the Act of Supremacy 1558, we're talking about supremacy. So you see, they use they're using our laws because that's why you get white supremacy. It's coming from here, which is ours. If everyone waking up for a bit, yeah. Remember, because we have the inheritance. Because in this time, again, this was the Moors was still ruling, the Black Crown was still in effect, and if you're talking about the king's children in that time, they must all be melanated. Because again, as I could show you, right? As I could show you, as again, just for everyone to gain this understanding, and it's powerful understanding. And like I say, they leave everything out in the open. So again, look, in the Royal House of Windsor, these are all the countries that are within the Royal House of Windsor, even the United Kingdom. But within the United Kingdom, the only royals that they say are those that ancestral house are coming from Germany, meaning foreigners. That don't make that in no logical person's mind, not a person with a like a over a certain grade, that it would make sense. Imagine someone coming into your royal house from a foreign and say that they're the only one. This is why it's so powerful. Because again, this shows you that again, remember the act of supremacy, an act restoring to the crown the ancient jurisdiction over the state, ecclesiastical and spiritual, and abolishing all foreign powers. So remember now. So when it comes to the powers, the whatever they say, it is void to us because our ancient jurisdiction has more power. Remember, because they are foreigners. They come through administrative purpose. They come through the Aliens Act. They were just given the power to administrate because administration is power. Because when you know administration, you're able to control finance, property, land, names, estates, everything, right? So, and you see, it wasn't based on no wars that they got in the position. They were fighting each other to create a disruption or a illusion that there are wars that they fought for, but they're fighting each other to gain the inheritance, to gain the administration, right? So just know that, you know. So like again, when it comes to the native of the Atlantic family, Mercia is the oldest, meaning the America, meaning the imperial crown, meaning the ancestral, the crown ancient jurisdiction. So now, let's see where the crown, how far does the crown ancient jurisdiction go? Because it's already imperial, let's see how far it goes. All right, very important. Let's have to see this. Because look now, all right, the crown, the ancient jurisdiction. Remember, it's over the state, so it's over federal. But before I do that, look, that's why the supremacy you could find it in the American Constitution. Look, it's in the American Constitution. You have the supremacy cluster. Everyone, make sure you get your notebook, right? You have the supremacy cluster of the Constitution of the United States. Article 6, Cluster 2, established that the Constitution, federal laws made pursuant to it. So you see, the Constitution and the federal laws is made pursuant to the supremacy cluster, right? And treaties made under the authority of the United States constitute the supreme law of the land. The supreme law of the land. So you are, because why? It's your inheritance, because it's the law of the crown, which is the what? The act of supremacy, because the crown has the ancient jurisdiction over the state ecclesiastic, meaning the federal laws and spiritual and abolishing all foreign powers. Right? Again. So that's why again look, and it says constituting the supreme law of the land and thus take priority over any conflicting state laws. So again, you have priority because you're the ones, you're the inherited ones. That's why they didn't want you to learn, teach, none of these things. Look, and it shows you the bill of, we're gonna show you some much powerful things, right? And that's why you have to know your constitution because it has your inheritance within it. That's why the Moors they were getting very close. Now they could see the whole picture. I appreciate everyone, right? Yeah, so they could see the whole picture. So now you're seeing that, remember, because the Constitution comes from the United Kingdom, and you could see that everything is aligned up. So let's check out the crown, the ancient jurisdiction, right? That's over the state, ecclesiastic, spiritual, and that can abolish all foreign powers. So you will find that, look now, so from Mercia, Mercia is an ancient crown, meaning the Americas, but we're gonna see where the ancient crowns that even that derives that America derived from, right? So like I say, you had Septimius Severus, which was the imperial crown ruler, meaning the emperor, right? So he has the bloodline of the pharaoh, with all the rest of these are Libyans. Yeah, the bloodline of the pharaoh. So we're gonna go into the ancient crown jurisdiction, right? Remember, in these times, again, the pharaohs were one, like from across, from sea to sea. They were. That's why I look in the Americas. in the Mississippian culture, you could find all these mounds. That's why even in the America, you could find Little Egypt, right? You could like find Little Egypt. You could find in Little Egypt site, was an archaeological site located in Murray Creek, Murray County, Georgia, right? Yeah, the Cuscawatt River, right? So, because again, we're talking about before any slavery, like we were connected, right? So look, because majority of people in America, they don't think as far. They're kind of stuck in a certain time loop. So look, when we talk about the ancient crown, right, the crown and the ancient jurisdiction. So the crown, like the Akuf crown. Remember, see the feathers are always there because of the bloodline, right? The intelligence, the Akuf crown, Mayat, Osiris, Asu, they all wear this. This is where the ancient. This is why we have the type of powers that we do, because this crown is worn by gods. So the crown, the ancient jurisdiction is the crown of God, like the living one, not no fairy tale, right? Not no religious one, the living one. So that's why Osiris from the tomb of Nefertiti, right? You could find Osiris with the crown, and you're talking about the same crown within this act, not no different, because it does say on this coat of arms, it said, do it Ed Mondua, meaning God and my right. You talk about the crown and your right. Just look it up. It's literally it's all reality. So because the crown is worn by God, so it's the crown, the ancient jurisdiction is the crown of God. Just like even the Peninsula crown, the two powerful ones. When you see the red and white cross, they're talking about the children of the crown, the bloodline, the royalty, right? The white crown, the upper Nile, red crown, the lower Nile, and it connects back even to the Atlantic Sea, the Americas. That this is the mitochondrial DNA, the mother crown. So that's why majority of the crown is worn by the mothers, because again they hold the longest DNA. And you could even find, like I said, the him crown. Remember, these are ancient crowns. These are worn by gods like the Ika, Isis, Osiris, right? And it's an archaeological thing. That's why they put like Cyrus II of Persia with the Imhim crown. He is the archaeological site showing that he's a seraphim, meaning angel. That means the crown of God. Like it's even the shitty crown. Look, I'm showing you crowns after crowns. You can see all gods are wearing these crowns. Look, Seti the first. Seti performs ritual before the god Amun, who is wearing the shitty crown from the temple of Seti of Abydos. This is real. It's a real archaeological thing. So this is the type of intelligence our ancestors had. Again, even from the Inca dynasty, the Inca emperor. Again, remember, empire is so connected. Listen, you have the Kheperes crown, the blue crown. This is worn by Tutankhamun, right? Tutankhamun. But let's go. It goes more. Let me show you. So you see, because the crown represents the sun, and that sun is the highest of the intelligence. That's why even in the Inca dynasty, like Manco Paco, right? Even in the Inca dynasty, they look to the sun because that is the highest of the crown. You know what I mean? The ancient jurisdiction. Because even Wokoku in the Inca dynasty is the high priest of the sun, right? The ruler of the empire. Listen, we're talking about some real connection here from west to east Atlantic Ocean, right? So let me show you some more. Let's talk about the Inca Empire, because again, they hold one bloodline. That's the imperial crown. Look, Let me show you. You know, also from the Caribbean, Aragabana, right, is also called again the Great Sun because again he holds the imperial crown, and that's where you find the mtDNA, the mitochondrial DNA. Let me let me keep going. That's why again we share that said culture. So again, because the mother wear the triple crown is the imperial crown. She wear the crown of the upper now, lower now, and the crown of the mothers. And even crowns, these are all crowns. The, the Fibim triad, where you get the Trinity, right? The power of the Trinity. Again, the mother and the mother birth and all of the gods. But look, I'm gonna show you something so powerful that again a lot of people don't know, right? So this, like I say, this book is for pre-order. It's my documentary of my journey of the families. So look, you see Scotia. So you see where you get Ireland and Scotland from, right? Even Canada, the mothers are in America, right? Because Canada is before Canada it was Nova Scotia, and Nova Scotia is Scotia or Scotia, right? So Scotia is a pharaoh, a female pharaoh. She's also called Princess Mer Aten, the beauty of Aten, right? The beauty of Aten, and she's the daughter of Akhenaten and Neferu Otet the first. So when you say Scotia, right? That's what I'm saying. So you're not gonna be able to have a Scottish people or Irish people without having her bloodline, right? Because she's the mother of that. So when you're saying Scotia, you see how powerful. I'm gonna show you how powerful. When you say Scotia, right? Look, if you look Scotia up, because we're talking about genealogy, bloodline. We're talking about intellectual property. You give thanks more people. When you saying Scotia, right? Look, Greek, right? Because Greek is what they copied from Egypt. So when you say Scotia, Scotia, or Scotus, you're saying darkness. So look at it again, right? So when you're saying Scottish, you're saying darkish because it's not just a name, it's a genealogy. It's a, you see, the power is the genealogy. So when you say Scottish Gaelic, you're saying dark Gaelic. When you're saying Scots, you're saying dark, right? When you're saying Scotland, you're saying dark land because of, again, those that are, and again, we are that bloodline, you see? So that's why it's so important, super important. Like I say, crowns, crowns, crowns. That's all the crowns. So that's our ancient jurisdiction because the laws was already written in hieroglyph. Because again, we are the expression of the laws. Important. Even yeah, even Sherbet, crocodile god of the Nile. That's why in the Caribbean, especially on the Jamaican coat of arms, you see a crocodile because it's the bloodline. It's you see because of we're not educated in all of the symbology, the hieroglyph. When we see things, we're just thinking it's something that they have written. But this is the law of the crown of England. So that's why England is so powerful. Remember, it's a little island, but it holds all of the memory, the records, the genealogy, the bloodline, all right, and the laws, the things that can be used. So that's when you see again the act of supremacy. And look, just that's the ancient part of the imperial crown. Let me show you the imperial crowns now of the modern day ones, right? Of this realm. So now these are all the black crowns. Remember, so when you say imperial, it's saying black, it's saying dark, melanated, just to highlight everything so everyone don't don't forget, don't misconstrue or nothing like that. We're talking about our crowns, meaning dark people, the black people, the Americans, right? Africans, the old Caribbeans, like, you know. So look, one of the, remember the triple crown is the imperial crown, meaning the mother crown, the bloodline, right? The dark, because remember, it's already proven, right? The mother, yeah, The black woman is the mother of all civilization. So she had all the intelligence, the crown, boom, boom. They had everything laid out. The men are the enforcers of that law, the crown, all of this, right? So the first one, this is the English crown. This is the imperial state crown, meaning the Saint Edward's crown, right? And this is the imperial state crown. But this was changed, as you can see, because the crown is made up of the earth, the diamonds, all of the minerals that come from the sun, you know what I'm saying, the atoms. So this is why it's so important to know. Remember, so that's one crown. Just look, that's why it's called the triple crown for a reason. So it's like the Bermuda Triangle, right? So look, that's one. That's one of the crowns. So that's one of the imperial crown. That's why like Congo is an imperial, right? Let's keep showing. Powerful, powerful. There's so much things in the history. So look, that's why you had even 80. 80 is an imperial bloodline. That's why again, see, emperors in 80 in these times, and they saying they were slavery. Look, let me show you. Even you have a lot of people don't in America the difference because they're talking about the crown and they were doing a lot of administration. You have the Morse Sundry Act 1719, and this separates the difference between again those that were what do you say, it was a petition, right? This was the parliament by Muhammad bin Ali, all right? That's from America. The law that the laws, right, that is different from like the Moroccan citizens, which were not subjected to the laws or governance of black or slaves, because again, because it's an empire and they're the children of the crown. Some of them again knowing, I mean, because it's about intelligence. If you don't know, just like that, our people are destroyed by the lack of knowledge, right?
Mic check, mic check. Can you hear me?
Go ahead, Noel.
Good afternoon, my brother and sister. Soul Main Radio. I'm not sure, being out here in the boondocks, how long my signal will hold, and I don't want to undermine or overstep your wisdom. Is Lancelot the name you've been given by birth by your parents, or something you chose to call yourself?
Yeah, no, no, my dad's name Lancelot. My name is Lancelot.
Okay, so this is your birth name handed to you, and I'm staying in the context of how you're describing the powers in a name. Now, I
Hmm.
appreciate all that you're sharing, and thank you for your time. I know there's a lot of effort that you've put in. Is this a book that you've published or that you're publishing?
Yeah, so this is volume two. So volume one is already published. Volume two is just to give more, like, more visuals, more sense to everything. Because not a lot of people can understand things just by writing. So I just make
So
it more.
each and every time you use the word empire, you're giving the imprimatur or the impression to people listening that these are imperial edicts that have some authority. Now, I don't want to act like I'm coming up in here to blow up the spot or give you any type of grief. I want to just walk with you, if you don't mind, for a
Yeah,
moment,
yeah, of course, of course. Go ahead.
because much of your presentation is a false presumption. The
Go
first
ahead.
false
Go ahead.
presumption is that anything foreign to this land over here that we call Turtle Island, or some would call America, North, Central, and South America, we're having people bring back to us something that was ancient that left here and went across the planet. Is that your understanding?
Now repeat that.
Everything that you've been sharing, no matter whether it was coming from the England Isles, the British Empire,
Hmm.
ancient Kemet, all of these supposed knowledges and things that you've compiled originated here in the North, Central, and South Americas, was distributed across the planet, and is now being repackaged and brought back to the original source, which is the American, known as the Negro, in North America. Are you aware of that fact? And this is not my opinion. There's a lot of documented evidence of the fact that I just shared with you.
Well, well, this is about law. If you could find something in the law, but I'm talking about, and I'm
Even if
talking
you
about.
want to talk the law, you made another fraudulent statement. You suggested the Constitution came from the the monarchy, or in England. It did not. It came from here, the Iroquois Confederacy, And the Great Law of Peace, which is established in the congressional record here in 1988, that the Constitution that is now being transmitted back over the world for people who consider themselves advanced democracies were started with I'm not going to say you're not one, but you do sound like you're in a Caribbean island with your accent. But the American gave forth law and governance, not the things that we're being told by others like you're doing, whether it's ecclesiastical, whether it's common law, which is not British law. People keep going to the default of thinking because the British brought it to the colonial conquests. Everywhere there was a British colony, they brought these ideas. We can no longer tolerate accepting, embracing, or dealing with the domination of our mind. And I'm not trying to suggest, Lancelot, that's your intention. I'm sharing with you, whether you understand this or not, that the days of imperial conquest have ended. And those who are
Yeah,
speaking in that fashion are agents of the old age of
you're coming from a
imperialism.
different point of view, my friend. I could hear where you're coming from, and like I say, these are things that established before you were born and before everything. This is the highest thing you could get. I don't know. Find something that is higher than the things I'm talking about. I understand that the way that they have distributed the information to
Okay, well,
those,
even Lancelot, the statement you just made, higher and lower, that's a
it
hierarchical
doesn't matter.
way of thinking.
The,
I'm not just my
the
brother, my
semantics are
good
different.
brother. Again, I'm not trying to be at cross
No,
purposes
but you're
with you.
saying you're just
I'm sharing some thoughts that I would like you to consider that are based in fact, not in opinion. They're based in fact.
but you haven't
Now,
shown us
even
what
common law,
I'm
let me
saying.
say,
You're just saying
brother, you
things.
went on for an hour and a half. I didn't interrupt.
I'm doing a live. I'm doing a
I know
live.
that. I know that. I'm trying
Yeah,
to, for
but you
your
haven't.
consideration, if
Yeah,
you'd like, if you
yeah.
don't mind,
I don't mind,
let
but
me
you're saying
complete the
something that's not.
statement.
Yeah,
That's what you respond to. You're
yeah,
interrupting what I'm saying. So as I was saying, canon law, nature's law, the highest law is being in harmony with the planet itself. To subjugate matriarchy is being in opposition to what we refer to as Mother Earth or terra firma. And much of what you just shared is a continuation of patriarchal belief systems and then codify it in what you want to call law and then suggest, because I declare it's law, this is the highest authority. You follow me,
yeah.
brother? But I'm on
No,
mute
no,
because
no.
I'm out here in the boondocks. My
I'm not
signal's probably
following
going to
you.
drop.
You're just. I don't know if you just came on the live. I don't know if you've been listening correctly, but you haven't been following, and that's why again, that's problems like people like yourself have difficulty of something that you have never seen before, you have never heard of before, and then based on your information that you have gathered, you're trying to say something that it might sound good, but again, if you have evidence to provide, it's all good. That's why we're here. We're here to say, because I've been showing, right? What I'm speaking from is what everyone can see. What you've come and saying now, no one cannot see what nothing you're saying. So it might sound good, it might sound good, it might sound intelligent, but it's the whole point right now in this time in age, show the things that is being said so people
Okay,
can
so
clarify
now,
mind.
now, if I may, because you just now cast aspersions on questioning my
Yeah,
intelligence and whether or not I'm authority figure in your eyes, which is amusing to me because that's exactly how the white man and the colonizer
see, look at that now.
projects on other people that if you're not
I'm saying
speaking
just show it.
as they've authority, no, I'm saying to you, my brother, because
I'm
I
saying
am
to see what you're
driving.
saying.
Obviously, I can't show in conflict with what you're saying.
Alabama. Hold on one
Yeah,
second, please.
yeah.
Okay, I think maybe you're not understanding what he's trying to say, and that's why I kind of had him come over here today, right? What he's explaining is that he's saying that the laws, right, of the original land super exceed that. They even super exceed what would be some of those treaties that were signed, because he's going back to what is BC and all of this time. It's just to clarify, is that what you're saying, Lord Lancelot? And
Yeah,
this is why you were saying that just to clarify, this is why you were saying that it super exceeds like the Constitution, all these different things, to be honest, because it's even before that time. This is kind of what I'm trying to get an understanding of. Is that correct or no?
Yeah, but I hope everyone is seeing what I'm showing. Like, it's everything has been recorded, right? You could see that it.
Yes.
You could have seen it. It's not even just. I just That's why I displayed it for a reason. So it's just not just to listen. You could actually see where it's coming from. I hope like everything is clear for everyone to see. You could make the screen bigger. Like you saw that I went. Everything is like I say. We have to be more cognitive. Like you could see everything that I'm showing, and to be to reiterate that point after showing all of these things, it seems like just a waste of time to me, to be honest. Because I'm not just speaking, so no one cannot see what I'm saying. I've also made an example of something to make sure being that is come across. That's what I'm saying is correct because there's an image, there's images to go along with what I'm saying.
Can you maybe elaborate? Awaken Mo also has said that how does that imperial crown give us sovereignty over the government in the government's powers? Maybe if you could elaborate a little more on that, that would bring a little more clarity. I'm not really sure, but could you,
Yeah,
before you go on? Yes, sir.
yeah, yeah. So the imperial crown is our birthright. That is our crown. The imperial crown is your birthright. That's why again, as everyone could open, like I said, I'm gonna have to do it like this now. I have to make it very very blunt, so everyone can see on the screen, right? Just represent the people that. So like you're on the opposite end, represent the people that is would be on the opposite end of you. So hope everyone could see on the screen. All right, everyone should be able to see on the screen.
Yes, the statutes for those who are born in parts beyond sea.
Yes. All right. This is 1350. So this time, it was a melanated crown. It was a black crown, a dark crown. This is what it states. I don't know. Yeah, just it might be a language barrier, but as you can see, just read it out for people, and I'll explain it. All right. If just to share the conversation because we already done this already. So just to see if everyone could be able to understand it from what how you sound. Right? Can you see it?
Yes, yes. It's still. I'm a little older, brother. It's a little smaller for me. Hold on. Let me make it. Let me make it bigger here on
Make
my
it
screen.
bigger. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
there it is. Yes, it says the king's children. Oh, okay.
1 second. 1 second. One moment. One moment. One moment. I got you. Where is it? There we go. You could
That's good. That's good right there. I made my screen bigger. I didn't even know I could do that. Okay, yes. It says statute the first. The king's children that are declared inheritable in England, wheresoever born. See, this is the important part for me, where it says wheresoever born. So, regardless to what have you in this England, another thing, England being just like kind of a newer name that goes after
mhm.
Mercia. Mercia was before England, correct? Just to clarify that.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, it says that the law of the crown of England is and always has been such that the children of the kings of England in whatsoever parts they be born in England or elsewhere be able and ought to bear the inheritance after the decease. I'm not TikTok. After the death of their ancestors, which law our Lord the King, the the prelates
Prelates. Yeah. Yeah.
prelates, earls, barons, and other great men, and all the commons that are assembled in the parliament do approve and affirm this forever. And I want to say this too, real quick. A couple of years ago, I found a bunch of documents and books that were like the older books, right? Like in the old English writing, so on and so forth. There was one book that was talking about King Charles II and where they beheaded him because he was fighting for the sovereignty of the Indians on the land. So when people are saying or thinking that the crown was against us, that book showed me that no, wait a minute. It seemed like the king were there. And then there's another book that says the Kings of Pennsylvania. And it's kind of a misconstrued of okay, are we talking about these European people, or are we talking about the people that are over here? Because a lot of people don't go with this, but my knowledge and what I've been reading with a lot of older books is that it's all old England, like Seneca. You were talking about Canada, Seneca, Canada, New York, all of that. That was old England at one particular time, and a lot of people just don't understand that. And that goes back to that Mercian land you were saying. So that's why I want you to elaborate more with this information, because it really confirms a lot of stuff that I've been reading. I understand where Alabama's coming from because we are American Indian. So, he's on that standpoint, like, wait a minute, brother, you coming in here, he get a little offensive with that,
Mm-hmm.
but he doesn't understand where you're coming from. I think the timeline thing, because he came up here a little late.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
you were talking about the timeline, and you're kind of pressing on what was from the first,
Yeah.
like we're talking like the BC time. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit more on that as well, just so it's
Mm-hmm.
clear that on the landscaping.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. So, okay, good. So let's go to the earlier time, the earlier time. I could do it this direction. So, so remember again, this is before all of the confusion that will people that that they will come with, before the confusion. So this is, I know some majority of our minds can't go back to this point, to these time frames, because they were never educated in these time frames about our movement as melanated people. So again, they're kind of limited to their thoughts. So, for instance, I give you an example. So we majority of us know that we came down from the stars. We should there are cultures that show these, from the Dogons to all of the that keeps the records. These are the things that are important. I understand that in the Americas, the majority of the records are being hidden. So until it's revealed, more records are like the records are revealed. Like I say, things then from an intellectual point of view. That's why again you have to approach from there, from an intellectual point of view, where the most records are being kept and is being revealed. Right? It you have to establish things that are coming from that point of view. It's an intellectual thing. So maj- majority of the culture, and the culture that do study the intelligence, know that we came from the stars. So it to say then which part of the planet we ended up first, again, then that then creates the conflict of, again, they are children of the suns that came from the stars, that they share the mitochondrial DNA of the sun. That's the biology that's within everyone. And is that the intelligence that were done in this, these are again 7,000 BC, 4,000 BC, and there were movements. So in those times, imagine those times, majority of people only thought of traveling, like traveling in the first BC, or even in slavery. That's all they think about. That's all they think about, traveling and having like in intelligence, like ships, real ships. So you could find from, like I said, these are BC eras, right? BC, and these are pharaohs with with ships, not boats, um, ships. And so like Montu Otet, like Montu Otet, he's renowned to be the lord of the rudder, obviously, which is what rudder is, something that is on a ship. So if anyone can look up, let me just point out what it is. Look, when you type in rudder, one minute, I think I spelled it wrong.
think it's coming back in.
Yeah. So rudder is referred. So when you see, so look, this is well before any conflict or like where everything was union. They had they had an intelligent understanding. So when you say when it's like giving the name the Lord of the Rudder, meaning the Lord of the ship. So imagine that there were movements of people throughout the global world in these times. That's why, for instance, when you say the Maya or the Mayan Empire, the Mayan kingdom, the Mayan people, you could find. 1 minute, let me see. Let me show you. You could find Maya. It's not up there, but you could find Maya. Well, you just type in. If you type in Pharaoh Maya, you'll see that Maya isn't Pharaoh because Maya left out at the same time from the 18th dynasty. It's the reality from the 18th dynasty, right? To and they covered the area with Tutankhamun. That's why majority some of those that in America you could find that their bloodline, are connected to the pharaohs. And it's not like I say, if people can, it can is because I'm talking about the family, and I'm talking about the family having their the highest powers and the highest jurisdiction based on their ancestral bloodline. And so, due to the fact that this is before any, again, European mindset, because again, majority of those are coming from a European mindset, so they're gonna be thinking everything that is not in our reality. But like I say, all of these the places that we're mentioning is based on real living people, bloodlines. Like these things are documented, and so it's mostly because, again, there are laws, and the fact that the, I don't know where and how the information is being provided to the American. It's written in the Constitution. It's literally written in the Constitution. The supremacy cluster. You could. It's not a hard thing to find out. Even on the Bill of Rights, the Bill of Rights is written in this is the National Archives. It's not just someone making something up. It's something that is really established. So when it comes to, again, from the primordial, from the present time, you will find that the connection between the pharaohs, again, and the American, remember these are all, when it comes to the primordial intelligence, children of the sun, they have, again, the bloodline. And I'm saying there are people that have been there. The origin, when you say when you that is it's not it's true. It's what it is. It's, if you're indigenous American, then you are indigenous American. That's just what it is then. But it still have a bloodline, you know. And the fact that to not know that there were journey traveling people that had intelligence from the beginning of time to be able to that shows a lack of knowledge. So you're saying you're just there, just stuck. Like intelligent people don't just stuck in one place. They move around. That's why you have international and you have local people. The local people are the ones that just stay. That's all they know. And that doesn't that. And this is the issue that we're having. So that's why if you cannot be from cannot say that you're intelligent or you, because this is what rules authority, and meaning that people that you have to be able to create things intellectually to get you from A to B, and that's using your intelligence. So if you're stuck in one area, that means, again, the intelligence was not given to you to be able to move it, and that doesn't provide an authority. It just that's just denoting slavery. You know, you're subjugated to not having knowledge. That's just it does what denote that. And if we're understanding about star systems just from an intellectual point of view, star system evidence of these type of ancestral evidence building mounds, you can't just expect them to be one area doing it. They have to, have a collective mindset. So it's very important to know that, movement is an intellectual thing, because without movement there's no life. So they have to move. And so the fact that having a connection, a bloodline from one area, but again being the owner of the Americas, say as the American indigenous stuff, it's true that doesn't take away that you're not. That's the whole point. It doesn't take away nothing from your establishment. It just show you that again, there are laws that is rightfully your own, that is not just in the Americas, but it's all across the world. So establish that again. It's not. It's a more powerful system than you could think about. So this is why again the history of all of the evidence that is shown from ancient time is denoting the movement of all of. Remember, this is BC. I hope everyone catching this is. So this is before anything, any issues, any European conflicts. Remember, these people had ships. We had ships. Yeah. So sometimes, so this is what I want to highlight. So again, when just keep it from. Let me go to. All right, right here. Right here. Let me show you something right here. And I want to highlight this point because it's very important. So just to give you a connection to something, and I know understand that the connection is super important for those that are in the Americas, right? Okay, so let's start from up to go down. So start from the crown. Start from here. So look, let's start from again. Start from here. So the reason why, for instance, similar culture, the culture that is taken from a culture, the Dogons from Mali, right? You could find the said tradition, right? You could find them in the Americas. This is called the Jonkunu. I hope everyone know about the Jonkunu. So they have the same tradition. The Jonkunu is found in New Orleans, North, Miami, the Caribbean, because of, again, not just, it wasn't, forget about slavery. It's just the culture and the practices that's within our DNA. And that's why you could even find the structures, because again, we had one understanding like the gateway of the sun. You could find, just like you have the city of the sun, the Heliopolis. Let me show you this. Very important. That's why you have the connection is super important. Like for instance, this is called the city of the sun, Heliopolis. So the sun meaning the number one factor, yeah, as in the connection, right? The number one factor meaning the crown again, yeah, I mean in the imperial crown. So you have Heliopolis, city of the sun, and then all the way in the Americas now, because again, if they were different, they wouldn't have the same practice, right? So in the Americas, you have the gateway of the sun, or the gate of the sun. You could find this in South America. This is the Andean civilization. Remember, it's the same place as Maya, the Mayan civilization that's coming from the Pharaoh Maya out of the 18th dynasty. All right, so over it's going to, because again, this is an intellectual thing. It's going to be hard. City of, so that you could find the traces of those that carried that type of intelligence, the bloodline, even the feathers, the way they all call it the feathers. This is also called the feather of peace. Again, it's also from the Edward the Black Prince, and all of these are is a part of the culture. That's why even in the in the Caribbean, you have Garabana again, also called the Great Sun. That's what his name denotes. And again, you can find that in Puerto Rico, Costa Rica, Cuba, and they have the mitochondrial DNA. Also, because again, we're talking the number one connection or the primary connection is the sun, right? Within the culture. So you have in the Inca dynasty, right? Inca dynasty, they all have the same cultural understanding. Remember Inca dynasty of the sun, the sun Ica, the sun god, because that's they understand the importance of the sun. I hope everyone do understand the importance of the sun. This is again the imperial crown, as you can see. The state of the Sapa Inca Pactui wearing the fascia, the imperial crown, right? The Maskapika, the imperial crown. So again, as it is, so this is from one end to the other, the imperial crown. It's the man. I'm making it as simple as possible, but like I say, if it's not, if it's not getting across, you have to incorporate this more. That's why in the same act of supremacy, right? You have the imperial crown because the imperial crown is the bloodline. So if it wasn't the same culture, where is this crown coming that it's being found all over in the ancient world? Same bloodline, is a part of it. This is the Americas again. I'm cross-referencing so much, and if this ain't enough, it's not for the everyone. It's just for the children of the crown. It would be for that. The ones that are intelligent enough to know, and they're gonna have to then educate the ones that are not ready yet. That's why many are cool, but only few are chosen. It's a good thing that I was looking for this for a while. So remember, this is again the Inca dynasty. This is before any slavery occurred, but yet they had the imperial crown. This is the black crown I'm talking about. Remember? Okay. So again, that's one aspect of the culture, the crown, plus the other aspect of that culture is the sun. Because again, that crown is representing the sun. And I hope like people that don't come in too late, you have come in enough time where you could, where you could understand everything. Children of the sun. I'm the son of the sun again. This is Manpaco. This is the Inca dynasty. Again, that shares the same culture as those that have the bloodline of that, if you could call yourself. Look, also, this is from Aztec people, the five sons. It's also the five sons. Where it is? It's the Tupian five crown from the Inca dynasty, the Mesoamerica, right? They all have a cultural understanding. See there, in the topical, the movement of the sun, because everyone should know without the sun there is no life, and we had that same principle because we already had that cultural understanding, and again that's why we share. Just like Shu, and again Shu would also call the god of peace, um god of light. These are things that are shared in our in from ends to end. I'll give you some more understanding. So that's why again, when it comes to now the actual behavior, meaning the crafts from end to end, from one side of the empire to the next side of the empire, we're talking about us as supreme. We're not talking from a European point of view. And I know a lot of us as being programmed So when you say that, it's automatically in your head you have an inferior complex, but it's not. I'm talking from our superior point of view. I mean, that's why again, in the Mississippian culture, there is mounds all of because again we share that similar, not the same culture, because if people then will do the same thing because again they have already have the intelligence. We're talking from an intellectual point of view, right? And that's why you could even find little Egypt, the site I mentioned in Georgia, Maury Creek. These are things that are archaeologically there. So it's showing you that there are, if not the whole of the people, there are a bloodline of people that has the same culture, the same understanding, the same movement, and have built the same the same structure just to denote their intelligence all around the world, right? This is just what it is, and these are from look 550 BC, right? You had the Plataic people, which is called the Phoenicians, all of them. There's all the names that they have established, but these are the pharaohs that traveled. Remember, they had they had intelligence to move anything they want. So no problem for them to build ships. So these are the most famous of the pharaohs, or the kings. Is called Atmos the first, Ashetsut, Thutmose the third, Amunotep the third, Akhenaten, and Tutankhamun. They ventured around the world, and as you can see, this is the daughter of Scotia. So this is before any European mindset, and it goes, and you can see their journey, their destination. That's why everywhere is imperial. It's not because of imperial means pharaoh, so pharaoh means melanated. Uh, Everyone knows. So this is, and that's why it's so important. So that's why when it gets back into the law, because we already established the law of things. Let me get back to this. So look, we're going into BC. We're still in the BC to the AD era. So remember, this is before any type of slavery that everyone might be focusing on. But then that's why then when it comes to finding out about the kingdoms and the names of the kingdoms and where it's deriving from, it's like holding holding the left hand and the right hand, you'll find it in the Atlantic Ocean, which are the islands. And that's why again you could find from ancient, because again we're talking about 5th BC, in that time, dark ages, meaning again we was ruling, and you could find that you have kingdoms like Mercia. Again, I don't know what time period majority of people thinking of, but like I say, fifth, fifth AD, then going all the way. It's these things, like I say, because it's so established, it will just need others to be intelligent, like to be able to just reference it themselves. That's why it's there. I could explain it as much as I can, but these things are the reality that we have in front of us. So yeah, so that's why when you see it, it's 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 what is present is the evidence. So that's why Mercia deriving, which we have America, and it's deriving from a Mercia, and because it's so intelligent, is that might be the problem everyone is having, because it's not that point of view. So due to the fact that Mercia has an ancient jurisdiction, meaning it has a function, it has a operation. And remember what I was saying is that same, all of the Incas, all the imperial crown, remember from one side of the Atlantic to the other, it all connects as that one bloodline. So everyone, yeah, to unite everything, is coming from the imperial crown. So let me just continue. So that's why again you could find a supremacy cluster in the United States Constitution, because that part is showing you the imperial crown and is showing you the crown ancient jurisdiction. So again, we're dealing with the highest things, and if we're not, yeah, so we're dealing with the highest things that you could get. It's over the state, ecclesiastical, spiritual, and it can abolish in foreign powers. And this is your bloodline, your inheritance. Right? Very clear. And remember it says ancestors. So again, we're dealing with people that knows it, have their connection. And if you don't, again, you could trace your surname through our surname research and see if we are connected, because we're talking to the people that do have the connection, that do know their connection, know their roots. Again, if you if you're stuck in that area, fair enough, right? If you're stuck in that world of indigenous Indian and don't have like the connective roots, right? But the crown still provides that. But for those that do, and again, they have brothers and sisters that again know their connection. Again, they could help them in that way where they are majority of a force, right? Because of the bloodline. It's super important. So again, so when you that's why again, mercy is super important, and those that have the connection, you have your royalty, and the royalty and the imperiality is the highest powers you can get because of the establishments, your own establishment before anything. So that's why the act of supremacy is so important, because it coming denoting back to us and our inheritance. So let me just add to something now. So you could even find it in the Bill of Rights, right? That's why if you look in the American Bill of Rights, because if you read it part about your constitution. Let me just go through this again. This part from here, it provides the state court are bound by and state constitution subordinate to the supreme law. See, they're subordinate to the supreme law. So if you don't know the supreme law of your land and I'm providing it, you're gonna have problems. Doesn't matter who you are. However, federal statutes and treaty must be within the parameters of the Constitution. That is, they must be pursuant to the federal government enumerated powers and not violating the constitutional limits of the federal powers, such as the Bill of Rights of particular interest in the 10th Amendment of the United States Constitution. The Bill of Rights. Let's see the Bill of Rights then, all right? So for the Americans, the American Bill of Rights constitute of the first 10 amendments to the United States Constitution, right? And again, look at it. Look, go for it. The amendments of the Bill of Rights add to the Constitution specified guarantees of personal freedom, such as freedom of speech, freedom of publish, practice religion, possess firearms, to assemble, and other natural and legal rights. It clearly limitations on the government powers in judicial and other proceedings, include explicit declaration that all powers not specifically granted to the federal government by the Constitution are reserved to the states or the people. The, the concept codified in those amendments are built upon those in earlier documents, especially the Virginia Declaration of Rights, right? As well as the Northwest Ordinance, the English Bill of Rights, and the what's the what? like I say, are we? Yes. Look, I'm showing you your own thing. And it's like if how could those that in America don't know about their own constitution and then where it derives from? Your own rights, where it deriving from. So that's why, yeah, it's about intelligence again. And that's what I'm trying to make sure people approach from. Like, yeah, we have to understand there is. So as you can see, so same Bill of English Bill of Rights. So if you see what the English Bill of Rights shows you, right? English Bill of Rights. So look, same again from what I mentioned, William and Mary, because again that's how they. William was a foreigner, and he got the power through again removing King James out of the throne. But this is what it shows you. Look again, just to highlight. This is all the things. This is the main thing that it shows you. Look, the subjects' rights, and on so and unto the said Lord spiritual and temporal and common, pursuant to their representative letters and election, being now assembled in a full and free representation of this nation, taking into their most serious consideration the best means for attaining the ends Arthur said, do in the first place as their ancestors in like case have usually done. So when you're talking about ancestors, it's talking about the same ancestors here, right? So ancestors usually done, the vindicated and asserting their ancient rights and liberties declared. So um, all of these. So let me show you. Keep going. Keep going. So look, this is all what the American freedom of speech, free election, subject arms that subject which are Protestant may have arms. So everything that I just read, you could find it in the actual law. So it's like look, so look again. Yeah, sometimes it's just yeah when I buck up on ignorance, it gets me. So look, but so here, so because at this time the crown was being passed over to foreigner based on such a lot of things that happened in this place. But within the Bill of Rights, it made sure to protect us based on the act of supremacy, because there's a supremacy part within the Bill of Rights. And this is what it states, right? So King William or Queen Mary, because Queen Mary has become foreigner by marrying William, because that's why I mentioned this. So the Aliens Act, William, right? So now, because William has conspired and removed King James, so this is what he has to sign based on him accepting the crown. It says, so this should say, I, William, will swear that I do from my art ad, admire, detest, and adjure as impetus and heretical this damnable doctrine and position that princes excommunicated or deprived by the Pope or any authority of the See of Rome may be disposed or murdered by their subject. And it said, no, go forward again. By their subject or any of any other whatsoever. And look, and I do declare that no foreign prince, person, prelate, state, or potentate have or ought to have any jurisdiction, power, superiorities, preeminence, or authority, ecclesiastic or spiritual, within this realm. So it's showing that even taking up anyone that takes the crown that are foreigners, they don't have power over the children, because This is our inheritance. This is it's written in the laws. So, in the reason why, look, so for those that do have understand their connection in the claim of right, 1689, it showed you that this is the time when King James was getting set up, right? It showed you that look, the evidence that we were taken and sent abroad. So it said by taking the children of the Protestant noblemen, so royalty and gentlemen, and sending and keeping them abroad to be buried popists, making great funds and donation to popish schools and colleges abroad. So it, in that time, it's showing we were taken abroad. So again, talking for those that are royal, imperial, that are the crown children, that has the connection. Not everyone not has. So the fact that again you have the type of power to protect those natives, right? So they have to do it like that, man. Because again, it's I have to see it. So those that again have the connection, knowing that now you know that you were taken, because it says it. So again, as the children, same children of the kings, all right, in the claim of rights. Let's see. In the claim of rights, we were taken and we brought abroad. Even though that there were others of us there, where the evidence is being provided in the law to show that these things happen. So that's why again, those that are from Mercia and they were moved to the our end of Mercia, which then got changed into America, you can see that they were taken. See, not as slaves, but by see. So again, there's difference. We're not talking about those that think themselves as slaves. We're talking about those that are children of noblemen, right? Children of royalty. For those that know themselves but needed the connection, you can see it there, right? So that's it. So we're now in the House of Lords Presidency Act. You can see more proof of our inheritance. This is the House of Lords Presidency Act 1539, and it goes an act for the placing of the lords in the parliament, right? And look, it says none but the king's children. So even in the Congress, where you have even in your parliament, right? It tells you none but the king's children shall sit on either side of the cloak of estate in parliament. Right? This is super important. I gotta read it again. None but the king's children shall sit on either side of the cloak of estate in parliament. And it goes into more details down the bottom. It says, first, it is enacted by authority of a said that no person nor person of what estate, degree, or condition soever he or they be of, except only the king's children shall sit on either side, shall at any time thereafter attempt or presume to sit or have place at any side of the cloak of estate in the parliament chamber, neither of the one and of the king's highness, nor of the other, whether the king's majesty be there personally present or absent. So we could go at any time. So that's why you see my actions on the TikTok, because again, it's just within you to do it. It's just your right. So it's there, House of Lord Presidency. Because again, when it comes to chiefdoms, there are Indians, meaning those that I have to put it this way, those that are just again the workers of the land. Then you have the chief, those are the diplomats of the land, and then the chiefs are also as the lords, those that again protect the land. So there's difference when it comes to then now the ones that have to protect those that are Indians, because again those are the lords, and meaning the children of the crown. So there's different state ranks within the chiefdom. I hope everyone knows what chiefdom is, right? If you do say that you are indigenous without intelligence, I'm just because it did get so, but we have another law. There have another law. This is the petition of rights. This is showing you the authority of our inheritance. After I show you our supreme, so the authority of our inheritance. This is powerful. This is something that is going on in America, martial law, but this shows you the type of power that you have if you don't know already. So it said the petition of rights, because the petition of rights, again, is where the Bill of Rights comes from, right? Is where the Bill of Rights comes from. Right? The petition of rights. The Bill of Rights is where the petition of right comes from. So just to clarify that this is 1627, right? When we're in the 25th year of the reign of King Edward, and the petition of rights is in the 27th. So think about it. So it says petition exhibit to His Majesty by the Lord spiritual and temporal and commons in this present Parliament assembled concerning derived rights and liberties of the subject, with the King's Majesty royal answer thereunto in full Parliament, to the King's most excellent Majesty. Look, again, this is reciting our inheritance. This is what it's reciting our inheritance. Look, I say again, uh, this is a statute for those who are born in parts beyond sea, 1350. A statute for those who are born in parts beyond sea of the 25th year of King Edward, 25th year. This is what it states: the king's children declared inheritable in England wheresoever born. The law of the crown of England is and always has been such that the king that the children of the kings of England in wheresoever parts they be born, in England or elsewhere, be able and ought to bear the inheritance after the death of their ancestors, which law our Lord the King, the prelates, the earls, the baron, and other great men, and all the commons assembled in this parliament do approve and affirm forever. So remember, where is it? So remember, this is the reciting. This is the petition of rights, and this is why it's recited. Reciting means something that is just recapping, reviewing, right? Reciting that by 25th, 34, Edward I, Saint 4, C1, by authority of Parliament held 25th, Edward I, and by other laws of this realm, the king's subject shall not be taxed but by consent in Parliament. Look at this. So again, by authority of Parliament held 25th. So again, Edward has the authority from the. So it says it in the name. That's why when you go all the way back to here, when it says this, it's so powerful where they're using our law. So that's why it says here, Her Majesty Queen Mary shall, until such shall attain the age of 18 and no longer, have full power and authority in the name of such child. That's why when you see this, it says the same thing. Authority of Parliament. Oh, so in the name of King Edward is powerful because we are as we're children of the King, so we're children of that name. That's why that name bear power because it holds authority. That's it. It goes hereby humbly shewed unto our Majesty, our Sovereign Lord the King, the Lord spiritual, temporal, and commons in Parliament assembled, that whereas it is declared and enacted by a statute made in the time of the reign of King Edward I, commonly called Statute Tilitio non comprehendo, that no tillage or aid shall be laid or levied by the king or his heirs in this realm without the good will and assent of the archbishops, bishops, earls, barons, knights, burghers, and other the freemen of the communal of this realm. And look, and by authority of Parliament held in the 25th year of the reign of King Edward. So again, based on the authority, based on our inheritance, we have authority to exercise our supremacy. So again, we just have to pay attention to who we are. But this is why it's so important. Let me show you. I'll keep right. It goes. Let me see how I can get through this. So it is declared and enacted that from henceforth no person should be compelled to take any loan to the king against his will, because such loans were against reason and the franchise of the land, and by other laws of this realm it is provided that none shall be charged by any charge or imposition called a denfiliance, nor by such like charge by which the statute before mentioned and over the good laws and statutes of this realm, your subjects have inherited this freedom, that they shall not be compelled to contribute to any tax, tillage, aid, or other like charge not set by common consent in Parliament. So literally, this is how we inherited not that. And I'm saying people are destroyed by the lack of knowledge, especially now for those that in England. We're not to even be paying tax because this we have inherited this. But again, we just lost the type of knowledge. I want to show everyone something. This is powerful. Let me show you something. I get look to martial law. I get to the look. So, just this is what's going on in the Americas, right? This is what's going on in the Americas. Look, 6, and that soldiers have been dispersed in diverse counties, and inhabited compelled to receive them, and whereas of late great companies of soldiers and marine mariners or mariners have been dispersed in diverse counties of this realm, and the inhabitants against their wills have been compelled to receive them into their homes, and dare to be suffer them to sojourn against the law and custom of this realm, and to the great grievance and vexation of the people. So we're grieving and we're vexed based on all of those companies of soldiers, marines, like we're called police, all of the mariners, all of the officers that we're facing right now, right? Look, it shows you. So this is the 25th Edward III again, and that. So this is our authority. This is the type of power we have, yeah? And that the commissioner have issued under the Great Seal for the proceedings according to is it maritime laws, right? Or martial law, yeah? So that under for the proceeding according to martial law. So as you can see, President Trump already talked about you're under martial law. So this is for the America, right? Look. And whereas also, so again, this is the inheritance that you have based, right? This is your inheritance because you got the highest inheritance, right? You have power. So look. So and this is based on the 25th Edward III, and that the commissioners have issued under the Great Seal for the proceedings according to martial law. So now you have you have your own proceedings based on martial law. So again, if you're not educated to the type of things laws that you have, someone else foreigner could come in and say something, say a new thing, and you think that is your law, but you have a different proceedings because law. And whereas also by authority of Parliament in the 25th year of the reign of King Edward III, it is declared and enacted that no man shall be forejudged of his life. So you see, like how they're unaliving a lot of people in a lot of us in the Americas, right? That's not supposed to happen. But you see, what I'm trying to say, like, if you know the law, then it's a different part now. So you're not supposed to be forejudged of your life or limb, any part of you. No, nothing that you're seeing not supposed to happen because what it says our people are destroyed by the lack of knowledge, right? Against the life, the the form of the Great Charter and the law of the land. But remember again, we're talking about the same supreme law of the land in the Americas, right? Like, just you have to know what's going on. Yeah. Great Charter and the said charter and other the law of and statute of this your realm. No man ought to be adjudged to death, right? But by the laws established in this your realm, either by the customs of the same realm or by acts of parliament. And whereas no offender of what kind soever is exempt, so no police is exempt from the laws, from the proceedings to be used and the punishment to be inflicted by the law and statute of this your realm. Nevertheless, of late time, derived commissioner under your majesty great seal have issued forth by which certain persons have been assigned and appointed commissioners with powers and authority to proceed within the land according to the justice of martial law against such soldiers or mariners or other dissolute person join with them as should commit any, as it should be murder, robbery, felony, mutiny, or other outrage or misdemeanor whatsoever, and by such some summon, course, and other an order as is agreeable to martial law, and also is used in armies in time of war to proceed to the trial and condemnation of such offenders, and then to cause to be executed and put to death according to law martial. Yeah, by pretext by pretext whereof some of your majesty's subjects have been by some of the said commissioner put to death, which and where if they the law and statute of the land they had the was it desired death, by the same law and statute also they might and by no other ought to have been judged and executed. Look, this is powerful stuff. And also sundry grievous offenders by color thereof, claiming an exemption, have escaped the punishment due to them by the law and statute of this your realm, by reason that derives of your officers and ministers of justice have unjustly refused or forborne to proceed against such offenders according to the same law and statute upon pretense that the said offenders were punishable only by martial law and by authority of such commissions as aforesaid, which commissions and all other of like nature are wholly and directly contrary to the said law and statute of this realm, like my people. It is so this is so powerful. Again, this is for all of you because again, it provides this part of this in your time of martial law. It shows you in your petition that you're not supposed to be going through this, but again, because you don't know that your inheritance, you're going through it. The lack of knowledge is true. And just like I say, you would have, again, yeah. So that's important.
Lancelot,
Yes.
do you consider yourself a British subject?
No, I'm a children of I'm one of the children of the kings of England.
Okay, so now you're going to answer me with your belief as opposed to
No,
you're
no, no.
saying you're discussing law. So
Did
let
I
me
say
stay
belief?
again and why I'm asking the question I'm
No,
asking you,
listen,
my
did I
good
say
brother.
belief?
Well,
Why did you say belief? Why would you come and say thing I believe? You asking me
because the
how?
question I was asking you was based in the context of law. You have subjects, you have citizens.
What is
Sovereigns do not fall under either the supposed admiralty law or maritime law. So that's why I asked you, do you
one sec?
consider yourself to be a subject?
No, 1 second. I said it depends on the context you're talking about.
Brother, I'm not trying to trip you up. I just asked you a
No,
simple
no.
question.
I'm
Do you
asking.
consider yourself a British subject?
No, I'm saying I can tell you I'm a children of the king. No, I'm not British
Okay,
subject.
okay. Now you're coming back by saying you're children of the king, which is could be considered a religious statement, or
No, that's not.
again, the
Why you
king on the
considering something? Why you?
brother,
I'm
brother.
telling you
I
what's
didn't I
written
didn't
here.
interrupt you, man.
Hold on, Alabama,
I've been
Alabama.
listening
Wait a
very
minute,
intently.
Alabama,
I don't know why you have
Alabama,
certain man.
Alabama. Hold on a
People
second.
problem.
Hold on, brother. Hold on. He's trying to answer you, and he's giving you the best answer based off of his way of speaking. Right? Remember, he's gonna break it down the best way that he can. He's very forthright. So I don't think he's trying to like evade an answer. He's just answering to the best of his ability from what he understands what you're saying. So just clarify a little differently, maybe the way you're asking him, because he's
Yeah,
explaining
more.
to you there is a difference.
Yeah, more. What you say? Like, have more clarity for real. You're right. More clarity. You have to have because to you, you might have a different outlook because it's I'm not have the same outlook as you. So when I say certain thing, I'm speaking from law, and if you're coming from law and you don't know the certain laws that I know, then if I'm telling you the law that I
No,
know,
you keep suggesting certain things. Now, if you want, because I didn't interrupt you, but I've been listening very intently. If you'd actually let me speak and stop interrupting me, then you can respond to what I'm saying. Not what you're thinking, not what your opinion. You keep suggesting you're talking law. You
what do you
are
mean I keep
referring to what
suggesting? I'm
you,
showing you the law right
brother,
here.
brother,
It's
here we
right in
go
front of
again.
you.
Every time I start
No,
speaking, I
no,
did not interrupt you for more
no,
than an
because
hour.
no, because you're disruptive. You're coming and saying things that I'm. You're saying I can't deal with certain people. Like there's many people that I can deal with, but not certain people. If I'm talking, the law is right. I don't know if everyone can see the screen. He's saying that I'm not. I'm talking from exactly what it's saying right here. So you can't keep changing things if I'm talking from the law. I'm not suggesting that. I'm not thinking about. I'm not guessing. I'm telling you what I'm talking from. So why are you going to change that? So if you're going to change that, that means you're being deceptive. So I can't make someone be deceptive and then you're going to continue. Then the whole conversation just goes sideways. That's not how nothing works.
Your thick British accent, besides the fact that you use phrases like children of the king when you didn't answer what I asked you. Children of the king comes from the Holy Roman Empire and the Catholic Church. Anytime you use the word king, you're suggesting such a thing as monarchy. Anytime you reference British discussions of so-called common law, that's admiralty law and law of the sea, which is not the law of the land. Now, the supreme law of the land in the Americas is referred to as the Great Law of Peace. This particular constitution, which is in the congressional record, is based on the Iroquois Confederacy and the Great Law of Peace. That's what I was trying to tell you earlier, Lancelot. I'm not at cross purposes here. I'm trying to ask you for specificity.
No, no.
You keep repeating British precepts.
You're lost, man. That's what I'm
That's why
saying.
I asked you, are you a subject or a citizen? If
But
you're either of those, you're falling under admiralty law, which is the law of the sea. No matter how
obviously,
much you profess that you're talking about the law of the land,
I'm just mentioning
subjects and
everything.
citizens fall under the monarchy, not under sovereign status. It's really that simple.
Obviously, you're lost, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I can't believe I just did all of this just for someone to come and say I'm talking about the law. Like, come on, like it doesn't. I yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like, trust me, it doesn't make sense. I don't know.
Because you're suggesting it doesn't make sense, besides the fact you're not
I'm telling you, it
listening.
doesn't make sense. It's not.
It,
I'm
Alabama,
uh,
he's
suggesting. I read
talking
everything.
before.
Alabama,
It's weird.
Alabama,
Like,
he's talking about the birthright in the
the question is weird,
blood
man.
right
Like,
of the people
what?
going back before the government,
Yeah.
before the parliament, before these things. That I think that's maybe what you're not getting, and this is why it's coming
Man,
off that
fuck,
way.
man.
I think we'll just let him finish, and any questions after he's done, then we can let people come back up, brother. I'm gonna kick you for now, just to let him finish because it is getting late. It's after midnight or close
Yeah.
to was about 1 o'clock at his time. So I
Mhm.
want to try to let him finish. So if you want to come back up after he's done and ask a question or two, then that would be fine. But I'm gonna let him finish. Okay. I appreciate you for coming up.
Why did I'm just this like it's weird. I just went through the whole part of the American. It's written. It's not. I'm not making it. I'm open. Everyone. That's what I'm saying. Is someone the cognitive dissonance is too much. It's like it's too much. I'm re. I could see my screen, and I'm reading from the screen. Not that I'm not reading. I'm not that I'm making something from my mouth. I'm reading from the screen. I'm just trying to direct everyone to look to see with your own two eyes that what's on the screen is what I'm talking about. It's literally what I'm talking about. So if you follow your own constitution, you will find that there is a cluster, the supreme cluster. It's there. It's not that it's not. It's there. And if you go through it, you will see that there's a Bill of Rights, and you will see all of the like. It's just a bit weird. It's just a bit weird how how we're that damaged. But it's not weird. But I'm saying it's 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 sometimes it's yeah it's these things. That's why again primordial peoples are a bit different. And yeah, if these things, if like I say, if these basic things that is being like this is public, right? And I even wish for the brother to provide what he's saying. Just like how that's why I again with me I like to have balance. What they call fair exchange, where if I show something is like there's audience of people they're viewing, and again and I hope that like I say they they're grateful for not just people that usually talk, but someone that shows something, that be able for them to even, because after this live, you could go and you could review it, you could take your time, look into it, and follow the things that are presented. But it's like I think we have to get out of the era for people that just want to say something without having a fair exchange. Like if you have a bill of table and you come on the table and you provide your all of things that you have accumulated, and someone else come at the table and just talking about the things that you have accumulated but didn't like in no normal world that you as a person in a good smart individual person would allow that person to continue to be at the table. Your table is gonna mash up. You're going to get this robbed. You're going to get hurt. You're going to get all of these things. Like it has to be like a fair balance. Someone has to bring something that could then help the whole the whole conversation. And does like yeah, it's like just follow the things that you could see first before you follow the things that you can't see. And I'm not saying that wrong, but like literally just provide. Yeah. So yeah, it's look, the last part of it, because it's the last part of it is, I think we're there. I think so. Again, look at this, right? So look at this. This is for based on us as children, and we were, like I say, basically because this is our inheritance, right? The crown, and again, we're the children of the kings. But because of the changes in administration, you could find it, for instance, because every movement just based on this, because again, because again, we was taken from one land to the other, you could find that in that movement, there are, we were insured, we were actually insured because we were kings, we were children of kings. But you could find it in the Marine Insurance Act 1906, because it shows you in that same act right here, in that same act. Look, it shows you. Look, touching the voyagers, and the perils which we, the assurers, are contended to bear, and do take upon us in this voyage. They are of the sea, look, men of war, right? Fire, enemies, pirates, um, rovers, thieves, Edson, letter of merit, and letters of countermerit, super stores taken at sea, right? Arrested, restraint, and detainment of all kings, princes, and people of what nation, condition, or quality whatsoever. So remember, again, this is when things were being messed up, because again, we were being, as you can see, it's showing you, we were being taken. But these things are embedded in, put in law to show you that we're talking about the king's children. We're talking about the royalties, like us, those that know where they're from. Like we were taken across board, not no slave, from all parts of the imperial realm. And that's why we have to have, intelligence needs to be bared. So again, when you say Mercia, you're definitely talking about America, and this is based on, again, us as the crown, the children of the crown. So yeah, where can I? So one, all right. Let me share this before I go. This is about. Let me share this before I finish. So this is based on the Statute of Monopoly, 1629, 1623. And look, this is from the said article. You go to this. So again, because of the said inheritance that we have based on our supremacy, 1623. Let me just share this thing. 1623, go down. Based on the said powers that we have as individuals. This was displayed by King James, right? This was displayed because King James was the, the children, or the daughter, or the son, the the son of Mary, So King James, that's Mary, his mother, and because Mary, she has the bloodline that goes into, again, the gods. Like she knows she her bloodline is tied back to the mitochondrial DNA, tying back to her being related to Scotia. So she knows the laws, she knows the customs, and again, she was also being persecuted under the Witchcraft Act, of 15, as you can see there, 1562, right? Persecuted under that. So again, like I say, a lot of conflict was going on to try to remove the imperial children, that crown. So he entered parliament because he's in right to that crown because of the mother. So he entered parliament, right? Look at this time frame. 1604. He summoned himself to parliament. Right, 1604. Right, so in 1604, he commissioned the version. He commissioned again the King James version, 1604. Yeah, just look at it. Because of how he thinks, he studied definitely the act of supremacy from his mother. So 1609 speech, in his 1609 speech to the English Parliament, King James I articulated his belief in the divine rights of kings, stating that kings are gods on earth and possess a power akin to divine authority. He argued that kings, like God, have the power of life and death, can rise or cast down subjects, and are accountable only to God. So remember again, due to the fact of the act of supremacy and the crown ancient jurisdiction, going all the way back to the crown of God, the Pharaoh, he developed that the supremacy, the state or condition of being superior to all others in authority, power, or status. That's how it's, because it's an intelligent. It's like, the better you get, the more you train, the more better you get at running. Show your ability. If you're fighting, boxing, like a different level of you know authority you have, power you have compared to everyone. Like you have a Crawford, you have a Saint Bolt, you have a Jordan. They're based on, you see, their training condition of mind gives them that when it comes to actually playing with these type of sports. But it's the same goes for the crown. Same going for the lords. That's why you have um, generals. That's why you have knights. You have different types of ranks of people. So now, all right. So remember, again, King James, he is up to that. He raised his senses up to that standard. So that was '09, right? So this is what it states in the statute of Monopoly 1623. It goes this: for as such as your most excellent majesty in your royal judgment and of your blessed disposition to the wealth and quiet of your subjects, did in the year of our Lord God. Go to the same act. If we go to the same act, look, I said it in the same act. Look, so this is legislation.gov.uk. Same act says the same thing. Look, for as such as your most excellent majesty in your royal judgment as of this blessed dispensation to the wealth and quiet of your subjects did in the year of our Lord God 1610, published in print to the whole realm, right, and to all posterates. Lord God, this is talking about King James. So, and then in remember, then in 1611, this is where you get the King James version. So it's showing you that, again, based on your intelligence, you could raise up your behavior to be like God. It's very intelligent, man. It's not super. So this is what showing that individual can attain when they know themselves, and it's real. It's a reality. So for some people they're based on the state of their mind, they're not near that. But it is a real direction, and it's a direction that we should all be in for there to be equality, because we all melanated people have it in our inheritance. So it's just for us to awaken, and I know that for many of those that they have been more isolated than others, so it's gonna be a bit more challenging. But it's just for those that do have a connection and can be able to help those that don't, right? And that's why I say you could trace your surname research on the website just to get you connected to all of the kings, of England. Your name, because it's in your name, right? Super important. And I appreciate for everyone for taking the time out for listening to the live. So yeah, again, Empress, sister. So yeah, that's where we at. Let me, I think it's a pause or something. Might be. No, something on there. So yeah, that's where we at, sister. So hopefully, yeah, that's really the end of the live. So thank you everyone for even tuning in. Got a lot of comments in the title. Just waiting for the sister soul to join us.
Are you leaving, brother, or are you listening? Lancelot?
Go ahead.
Okay. And I'm not being antagonistic if you'd actually let me complete a sentence without interruption, because I've been listening very closely to what you're doing. And I appreciate your work. I said that already. Great efforts if you published a book. You're still compiling what has been done by imperial conquest. That's not to diss you. This is a statement of fact. The only law of the land is what is established here in the Americas. Specifically, as I was trying to tell you earlier, you could just look in the congressional record of 1988. The United States Constitution and the Articles of Confederation are based on the great law of peace of the American tribal nations. Now, I put that in the chat. I'm driving. I can't respond in the way that you suggest I respond because I'm unable to interact and put some things in there for you to see. You could look it up yourself. Everything you've shared, including talking about ecclesiastical, canonical, or common law coming from the British Isles. By definition, this is an island nation. The vast majority of their law is being imposed overseas to our land over here. That is what is called admiralty law, my good brother. Now, they are constantly against the actual law, supreme law of the land, under the Constitution and through treaties that have been broken by all of these colonizing invaders. They are imposing the law of the sea on this land over here. Do you understand what I'm saying, Lancelot?
You could just be speak. You could speak. So I'm listening to what you're saying.
Okay, so I'm not suggesting you are in error in your research. All I'm saying to you, especially when I saw you bringing ancient Kemet, bringing the pharaohs, bringing all this other stuff, all that is a compilation of what has been either manifest destiny, is the Magna Carta, doctrine of discovery, which is Dun versus, and so-called antiquity, or what they want to call as ancient civilizations. That would be uh, what we would call Cheops or Ethiopian, Kemet. or Egypt, ancient Greece, and ancient Rome, which once you go and look, even just in dealing with the Algonquin conquest of more than 25,000 years ago, what I was telling you earlier, it has been transported from here, the Americas, to wherever on the rest of the earth. That includes the Asian steppes, that includes Europa, which is not a continent, that includes the subcontinent, which we refer to as India, the Indus Valley, and it includes the so called African continent, whether it's Al Cable land or the land of the Ethiops or the Ethiopians. It would take a lot more time, and I'll give you one reference book. You can go get the American Indian Encyclopedia, and there's a number of other books I could share as well. If Bap is in there, he could drop some of this in the chat. I'm not dismissing your work or your effort, brother. I'm saying to you, it's out of context and out of time when you don't put in the actual origin story of the ancient people of this planet. And my argument is, and everybody knows me when I say there is only one American, and we are the ones known as the Negro, colored, and black folk. And until that is addressed, and that will come from within us, not externally, that once we understand, we are the ones that are only standing on what is sacred land and what is sacred law. And I yield. Thank you for the time, Sister Soul Man Radio. You have a great Sunday.
All right, peace.
Yeah, thank you for the time, Sister Soul. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm done. I'm just, yeah.
Did you want to respond to that?
No, no, I ain't got time for that. No,
Okay.
if
I want
everyone
to. I want to.
wanna do anything.
All right. Yes, brother. So you said you have completed. Maybe we can come back another time and have you elaborate a little more and maybe answer some questions from other people. It was actually a few people coming in and out, so we didn't get that large of a guest tonight. But hopefully, the next time we'll be able to get some more answers because there are a lot of things that people don't understand, and that's why I wanted you to come over and kind of break some things down. So on and so forth. And I understand where Alabama's coming from. We have a lot of discontent when it comes to how can I say it? Like dealing with other areas, like especially Africans, Native Americans, and things. And they try to dismiss a lot of things. So I think a lot of people in our community immediately get offensive with some of these things when it sounds like we're putting things off. But I know I understand because I've heard you speaking on it and saying that you said originally that Mercia or America is the oldest. It's the most ancient empire. So I don't know I don't know. I don't know what to say about that, but I definitely appreciate you and your time. I know it is very late there. Hopefully, we can do this again, brother, to go over some more of this information and make a little more clarity. You're definitely appreciated for your time now.
No, appreciate it. This is recorded, right? So at least people can you can put it on your if you have
Yes,
YouTube,
it definitely
and
is.
you can go over it.
And
So
I can send it to you. Yes,
yeah, thank you. Yes, again, everyone, thank
yes,
you for the time.
definitely. I'll send the copy to your email if you like.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, appreciate everyone.
All right.
Again, have a great night. Take care.
You as well. Appreciate your time. Have a good one. Okay. Alabama, did you want to add something else? I think he's working. He may be in a bad area. This is Alabama here. The brother that's asking about following him. This is his page. I don't know how easy it is to follow on here. This is not like TikTok, but he does frequent different pages. And I'm gonna show actually let me show this real quick. Let me share something. Let me see. All right, share screen. Okay, now he was speaking a bit on this, so I'm gonna just show this one thing, right? This is the charter of the city of New York. Let me make sure that it's showing. Okay, it is showing. All right, I'm gonna read this real quick. It says George II, right? George II, by the grace of God of Great Britain, France, and Ireland, King, defender of the faith, and to all of whom the present letters shall come in greeting. It says, whereas on the 22nd day of April in the year of our Lord 1686, Thomas Dongan, then the lieutenant in 1680, governor and vice admiral of New York and its independencies under our predecessor James II, the King of England, and did make and execute the certain grant or instrument in writing under the seal of the province of New York in these words following. It says that Thomas Dugan, Lieutenant Governor and Vice President of New York, and its independencies under His Majesty James II, by the grace of God, of England, Scotland, France, Ireland, King, defender of the faith, supreme lord and proprietor of the colony and province of New York and its dependencies in America, supreme lord and proprietor of the colony. It also says to all to whom that shall concern in sending greeting, whereas the city of New York is an ancient city. The city of New York is an ancient city, right? Then it goes along to say that the said province, right, the citizens of the said city, the citizens of New York, have anciently been a body politic and a corporate, and the citizens of the said state have held, used, and enjoyed as well within the same as elsewhere in the same province, divers and sundry rights, liberties, privileges, franchises, free customs, preeminences, advantages, jurisdictions, emoluments, and immunities, as well as by prescribing as by the charter, letters, patents, grants, and confirmation, not only of divers governors and the commanders in chief in said province, but also of several governors, directors, generals, and commanders in chief of the Dutch nation, while some was on their particular been under their power and their subjection. And whereas the divers lands, tenements, and hereditaments, jurisdictions, liberties, immunities, and privileges, inhabitants of the said city, sometimes by the name of the scout, the burgomasters. I know y'all heard that name a bunch. But I want to stick to this, just to clarify right here. This is the king talking about America. He's talking about the said province and the city is an ancient land, and it has anciently been a body politic and a corporate. It has always been an ancient land. I just wanted to show that. Also, I'm going to go show you guys this.
Can you hear me, sis? Because I think I'm on the verge of another hunky hole.
Okay,
So,
now I can hear you. I can hear
okay.
you now.
Okay. So what we're saying is that we're continuing to let others acknowledge us. And I'm not suggesting you're doing that, Sister Soul. I'm saying what we're doing is we're listening to the colonizing, invading explorers who now it's being unearthed because we're coming to a realization and an awakening, not a reawakening, an awakening. Because the presumption is that we purposely fell asleep as opposed to we have been suppressed, oppressed, and diverted from the facts which has always been in us. And that's what really aggravates me with the spit in the cup nonsense and genetic tests and all these type of things, sis. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
thank you for unearthing. What you're doing is again revealing the record that is held away from us, but the paperwork doesn't make us. You know what I'm saying? Just like people keep
correct.
suggesting, they think because it's written down on a piece of paper, you've now had rights given to you. No, your rights have always been in you from birth. That's what birthright means, not citizenship. Citizenship is not a birthright, it's a privilege. But the rights that you have from birth is from your sovereign existence. And
Mm-hmm.
I would argue, I could be in error. I'm just expressing my perspective that this is the oldest piece of dirt, and therefore, by default, the people sprung from it would logically have to be the oldest, right, sis?
Correct.
So I just don't get why we keep going back. And by the way, any other land reference that people want to make, notice it's always coming from islands, especially the British island, which
Mm.
went to the Caribbean island, who then he said, and this is what was really irking me, who he kept saying as if this was proof that we were transported from point A to point B. But he's always got the presumption, and I'm not saying just Lancelot, I'm saying people who either think that they're scholars with
Uh-huh.
European authority or call themselves Pan African, they're always talking about being transported from there, which is actually the New World, being brought here, which is actually the old world, but being told in stories, histories, etc., journals, that this is the new world, right, sis? So that's already flipping it
But
upside down.
wait, hold on, Alabama. To his defense, though, he says the opposite, though. That's why I was trying to make sure you heard what he was saying. He says that no, the original ancient land, the oldest ancient empire is America, but during that time it was called Mercia, but Mercia is America. And he even went and showed it that Mercia is America, and he said it more than once that America is the oldest ancient empire. He said that himself. So I got to say that. That's why I wanted to kind of get more perspective, because he's not saying anything different from what we say. I don't really entertain a lot of nonsense, Alabama. You should know that. So the reason I wanted, him to come over and elaborate even more, because I've seen a couple of his lives. So I'm like, wait a minute. It sounded like some of the stuff that I understand when it comes to some of the law aspect, not legal, because the legal go into the colors of law. But when it comes to the law stuff, I kind of understood it. So when he was talking about the mercy, I'm like, wow, I've read this before. And I have a couple of books on mercy, which is crazy. But I didn't understand that it was talking about America. So now when I saw his lives, this was maybe 2 weeks ago, I found this guy. So when I saw his lives, I'm thinking like, damn, he said mercy, that was America. I said, oh my gosh. So I went back and found those books. So this is what made me intrigued. And I've definitely been trying to, kind of get more info. But from what he's saying, he said that yes, America is the oldest empire. And he said that it was Mercia at the time, and the other empires kind of are like lineages up under it, if that makes sense. And that's why I was trying to get him. It is kind of hard to understand with the accent. Then he's explaining, he's going to different things. He was reading, but I kind of understood where he was coming from. So I don't think he's trying to say like, like like they be saying. You know what I'm saying? I'll just say that.
Well, there's a lot that we've been told that's an outright lie. There's some that is told in reverse, which is trying to trade places. There is the impression being given, and I'm not suggesting Lancelot was doing it. I am just saying, whenever we're navigating foreign input, someone bringing to us something about us has to be checked. It has to be checked.
Okay. I
Because
understand.
again,
I understand.
well, what really irked me, and I was trying to be triggered by him, he suggesting that I'm not intelligent. Now, I wasn't taking it personally, but the fact that he
Yeah.
kept bringing the word intelligence up, or to be intelligent, can be off-putting. Okay, I know from a lot of people, just from the tone of my own voice, they don't think that I'm a melanated man. Okay. I know from interacting and having traveled, because I have traveled in the Navy, that people who have a British accent have an air of superiority. These are all the problems of people trying to communicate when you are being dismissed and held in contempt. And not you, my sister. I'm saying the problem with this information transfer that goes on, directed
Okay.
at the American known as the Negro. First premise of everyone, and I mean including other Negroes, is that the nigga ain't shit. You feel me, sis? So when you come at it with that
Yes.
kind of rationale and frame of reference, then you get people, their jaw drops if you speak in a certain fashion and command of the king's or queen's English. You feel me, sis? I'm sure you can understand. I've had experience
Mm-hmm.
with that in more than
Yeah.
6 decades. Okay. When you share thoughts and ideas that are beyond being a servant, a serf, a peon, or a peasant, because again, remember, all these Euro peons, who actually are the peons, think that they're looking at an African jigaboo slave that's called an American Negro. That just it convolutes the conversation. You see what I'm saying, sis?
Yeah.
And I'm not suggesting Lancelot was doing that. I'm saying this is what's always in my consciousness. That when I'm dealing with foreign people, which is everyone who is not American, one more time, everyone who is not American is a foreigner. And all United States citizens are foreigners. You feel me, sis? You know, I try to make my message simple. There can be only one American. I'm not suggesting people in the Central, South, or Caribbean islands are not American. They're American to their location, to their locale. But the 48, and putting aside Hawaii and Alaska for the moment, but the 48, everybody, including south of the Mexican border and north of the Canadian Great White North, they're all trying to get into our mix, sis. And we have to actually intelligently, since he wants to use the word intelligence, we have to intelligently look at why the hell is everybody from wherever knocking on our doorstep? Don't we have to address that eventually? And I'm not just talking about this silly, stupid shit with Donald Trump and Stephen Miller and mass deportation. What do I concern myself with one foreigner saying another foreigner needs to be ejected? You feel me? But they don't think they should be asked to leave. And the only way they think they're going to be either asked or insisted to leave is at gunpoint, because that's the only communications they understand, right?
Most of the time.
So if they feel that they have taken this land, as I said earlier, the only ruling in the history of the United States Supreme Court is in 2005. I want to say that's the city of Sherrill, New York, versus the Oneida Nation, the Indian tribe known as Oneida, Oneida. And Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the only Jewish woman who sat on that court, wrote the majority opinion 8-1 that all property law is based on the doctrine of discovery. Now, my sister, I'm going to part with this so that we'll circle back to what the facts are. Does it matter that you, the American known as the Negro, don't agree with whether the doctrine of discovery existed? Or do you look at the fact they all think they're operating under the doctrine of discovery? And by the way, sis, I discovered your shit. It's now mine. You feel me? Now what you gonna do about it? You see what I'm saying? So when I hear somebody who keeps regurgitating what they think is the law of the land, that lets me know they obviously are short in their research, because the only land of value is here. And the law of that land is the great law of peace. And the Haudenosaunee is what was co-opted through the Iroquois Confederacy, being turncoats, rebel American Indians in cahoots with European/African Moor explorers, conquistadors, and colonizers. You feel me, sis?
Yes.
And on that point, I'll yield. Thank you very much for your time. But that fact will never be ignored by me. I don't care about anybody who don't listen to me. But that fact, like Ronald Wilson Reagan said, is a stubborn thing. Have a great Sunday, sis.
All right, brother. Have a good evening. Yeah, I'm about to get out of here, guys. You know, this has been a long little stream. Y'all know I usually go about 2 hours cap, unless I'm really, really going in. So to be sitting and listening and not talking or reading or showing anything, it did get a little draining for me. But you know, because a lot of the information he went over, I've already heard him go over a couple of times on TikTok. And so on and so forth. But I definitely want to show y'all just a few of these pictures. I want y'all to see where it says right here that this is the foremost. We know foremost means prominent, right? Foremost city of the world. It don't say of America. It says of the world. The foremost city of the world. Good old New York. Look at this, looking like it's Rome, looking like it's Greece, looking like it's somewhere else, right? Look at what these people are coming into. This is a king's view of New York. You see this? The great metropolis. The great metropolis. Let me show y'all some of these Tartarian buildings, and we about to get out of here after this. See these buildings? They got these magical, fantastic structures, but they're walking around with a horse and buggy. Why would that be? How could you have these type of buildings and be walking around in horse and buggy, right? That doesn't even make sense. But either way, I just want to show y'all a few of these before I got up out of here. I've been showing a lot of this old ancient New York, Chicago. I can remember a couple other areas. I went to Mississippi ancient areas and the artifacts, so on and so forth. So if you guys aren't on TikTok, you are missing a lot because I post a lot on there, a lot of books, a lot of information, like a lot. This right here is definitely a very intriguing Tartarian building. But yeah, these are some of the buildings. I just want to show y'all a few of them. This old ancient New York, ancient. What did the king say? The king said that it is, let me go back to it real quick just to verify. He said that the said province, we talking about New York, this is the charter of New York that we're reading. He said that the said charter and the citizens of the said city have anciently, not old, not sometime part-time, a while ago, it says anciently. They have anciently been, that means they've always been, anciently been a body politic and a corporate, and the citizens of the said city have held, used, and enjoyed as well within the same as elsewhere in the same province as anyone else. So basically, that's kind of where I'm gonna leave it for you guys. It's a lot I can get into, but I'm kind of drained, like I said. But I know I haven't been over here in a while. And I definitely just wanted to make sure that we had this information brought to the forefront in our community, because I found the brother a couple of weeks ago, as I stated, and he did confront what's his name, Prince so-called Charles. Let me see. Maybe I could pull up the video for you guys if I get out here. He tried to pull it up, but the sound wouldn't work. Let me see if I can get it on here real quick. Let me see. Let me go to his page. Okay. All right, guys. Let me see. I want y'all to see this. Hold on. And I appreciate any and everybody that did come through. I hope you guys were informed on some of this information, because yeah, it's a lot. It is a lot. It is a lot. Hold on. Let me unmute it. See if it plays good. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Let me share. All right. Okay, guys. So this is him at the Parliament House. They had. Okay, let's see. Why is it doing that? Hold on. Let me just start it over. Okay.
Yeah, let them come. That's the whole point. Because again, this has to be examined. This is for real. Again, us as children, it should be the only one that should be in Parliament, because this is written in the House of Lords Presidency Act 1539 that we, the children, are the only one that's supposed to be sitting in Parliament. And yet there's foreign MPs, again, foreign government and foreign everything. Unfair, because all of the other people, they're incompetent, they're even able to know. You let them come, that's the whole point. Because again, this has to be examined. This is for real.
Okay, again, go to the other one. The one where the first one I saw, which made me very intrigued. Hold on a second. Let me go to the other one. Where is it? The one that's plain. No, they all kind of like that. Okay, hold on. Let me go to. I'll do this one. They all kind of the same. All right, so here's this one right here where he just.
So, tell me today, what are you here today in Parliament?
Well, I'm here today in Parliament to represent the Windrush generation, and also to proclaim and declare that I, Lancelot, is the real King of England, by bloodline, by genealogy, by law and constitution, because we're from the ancestral house of Wessex and Mercia, and we have right to the throne over King Charles, which is a foreign administrator, and he's from Sox, Coburg and Gotha, which is a foreign house. It's not native to England, and a lot of people don't know, so we're under foreign government, and that's why it's affecting all of those that are from the Windrush generation. A lot of uneducated people that are representing us that are not doing the justice, and that's why when you see the footage, you know that.
So tell me today, what are you here today in Parliament?
All right.
Well, I'm
Basically,
here today in Parliament to
the
represent
first video
the
with
Windrush
him,
generation, and also to proclaim
the
and
first one
declare.
was him confronting Prince Charles and telling him that he was on his throne and saying that he wanted him to leave off the throne so he can take it, pretty much. You know, this is what we're getting. And yeah, it's getting real out here. A lot of these people are being exposed. I don't care what part of the country they are on. They're being exposed to remove themselves from these seats that they have taken that don't belong to them. It's just that simple. Just like they over here in our ancient land and trying to act like they governing and ruling us. Now the government's shut down. What we doing? We don't got nobody in order or in place to come step up. What's going on? What's really going on? All right, guys. Peace, love, and bliss. It's been a minute. I hope you guys enjoyed this presentation. I'm definitely going to have him back so we can go over some more information, make more clarity, see how this does connect to us with the House of Mercia. I understand where Alabama is coming from. Obviously, I'll be talking to him, later to get more insight, obviously. But I do know that the Mercia is that's tripping me out. When I heard the man mention it, this is why I'm so intrigued with all this. But I'm not going to get too much more into that for the moment. But peace, love, and bliss. You guys have a good evening. And you know what? Actually, I'm going to play one good song before I get out of here. It's been a minute since I've been on here. I'll play one of my nice energy songs. Let me see if I can find it real quick. It won't take too long. And if so, we'll get right to it. Okay, let me see. Playlist. Give me a second, guys. Trying to get to my playlist. And all right, here. Play. Let me see if I can find the one song I want to play real quick. And yeah, peace, love, and bliss, guys. I'm gonna just play this out of here, and that'll be that. Let me see. All right, here's the right playlist. I think I got the song in here. I want to see if it's in here or not. Hold on. Okay, let me see. Dang, it may not be in this place. Okay, yeah, there it goes. I think it is in here. Yep. All right, there we go. I'm gonna play this one before we get up out of here. Peace, love, and bliss, y'all. I'm out. Wait for this little commercial. Do. All right. Good night, guys. I appreciate everyone that came through. You guys are awesome.
Hey, burn some sage, homie. Yeah, look, I had to sit down and meditate, connect with my soul. I had to change my diet, I had to switch up some goals. I had to evaluate plans and switch up on people. I had to switch my living, had to fight with the reaper. I had to fight my fears, I had to fall to the bottom. I had to search for myself, and yeah, I cried when I caught him. I had to be quiet, I had to listen some more. My son wasn't feeling loved, I had to kiss him some more. I had to talk to myself, I had to chat with God. I had to forgive myself, I had to accept my flaws. I had to focus up and cut off all my distractions. I had to be quiet and follow up with some actions. I had to walk by faith and not walk what I see. I had to walk like I talk, it had to walk what I be. I had to fight with myself to overcome all things. I had to sit with myself before I sit with the kings. My soul is fading so far away. Hey, burn some sage, homie. My soul is fading so far. Yeah. I had to change my words, I had to start speaking life, I had to apologize, I had to make shit right, I had to control my urges, had to cut off some sex, I had to block some numbers, had to cut off some texts, I had to read some books, I had to pray every day, I had to go to the gym, I had to release some rage, I had to draw some boundaries and focus on me, I had to stop drinking soda, I had to get with the tea. I had to step in my power, I had to use my mind, I had to do my bid, I had to face my time, I had to fight my fears, I had to fall to the bottom, I had to search for myself, I finally cried when I caught him, I had to be quiet, I had to listen some more, my son wasn't feeling loved, I had to kiss him some more, I had to fight with myself to overcome all things, I had to sit with myself before I sit with the kings. My soul is fading so far.
Oh, one more. I'm out after this, y'all. I'm gone. This is a good one right here to get the energy up. This you played at the beginning of the video. Hey.
I need your energy. Your energy. This world is killing me. Light it up. If you feeling me, feel, light it up. If you feeling me, feel, light it up. If you feeling me, feel, light it up. If you feeling me, feel. I need your energy. High life, high tide, don't drown. Big breath. Take steps, stay cool when I'm down. That vibe, that's right. On top, that high, I fly, skydive, high five, we won't die. See hope, see drive, see why. And my eyes, win big, win life. Take off, bye bye, no slip. Black ice, they shoot, lit fly. Don't stop, must try. Energy, that's why I'm doing the most. In the middle of the road, I'm running the globe. I'm fighting for those that give everything to get back what they owe. So close, don't fold. Live bright, live bold. Kick back, get close. Light it up for yours. I need your energy. I need your energy. This world is killing me. Light it up. If you feeling me, feel, light it up. If you feeling me, feel, light it up. If you feeling me, feel, light it up. If you feeling me, feel,
I need your energy.
This what they want, this what they need, this what we on. Took it worldwide and brought it back home, turn it on. Energy. Never been scared, always prepared, taking you there. You need to be here, hands in the air, yeah. Energy. Flossed up, fly like a salsa, live in the moment. Get it, own it. Live it, breathe it, zone it. No time to waste, no time to slow down when we out on the chase. Don't be pumping your brakes, when you come from nothing, you do what it takes. Dodging these gunshots, man, still gotta stay focused. Ain't no sleep, stay
focused.
Keep your eyes open, when all of my energy gone. Don't leave me out on my own, don't leave me all on my own. Light it up, light it up, light it up, light it up. I need your